Hello and welcome to the Empire Arcane Journal Guide. If you want to catch this on audio or you feel like supporting the channel and keeping us going, there is a Patreon link below or now YouTube memberships where you can get audio and pre-releases as well as dice for the Dice God with the Bearfoot logo. They're square as well.
They're square. They're like casino dice.
Exactly.
But better.
Exactly. So, stick around for the journal. Basically, what we're going to be doing is go through the list with the magic items coming first, then the new knightly orders and Nuln artillery list, and then the units at the end. That'll be time-stamped below, but under contractual agreement with Games Workshop, I cannot show the pages. So if you want to see the pages, Guerrilla Miniature Games does that like every time. So if you want to see all the pages, in fact, they could do a play-by-play, put that on,
and just listen to our voices while they're flicking the pages.
Yeah.
Have theirs on mute because you want to listen to our voices more.
Our sultry tones.
Yeah, dulcet
tones. Doesn't that mean like flat and uninteresting?
Pretty much, but
that's what it is.
That's what it is.
Right. So overall, to say about this guide is like a inner bow at the start before we unwrap it. How do you...
So nobody else can see this, but it was just his hands doing the bow thing that nobody did him very well down here, which made it look even weirder.
I think they can see it.
No, they can do. Okay.
Yeah. If you're listening to this on audio and not the thing, which is available to Patreon members, there'll be a link below. They won't have seen it, but enough preamble.
Okay.
So this, I think, needed to do some of the, because we're not going to see like Skaven Arcane Journal, I imagine, because they're not like a core race.
Yeah.
But this is one of the guides that I think needed to do the most work out of any of the Arcane Journals.
Yeah, I mean, Empire are not in a great place, are they, really? So, like, what you've got with them, it's either you're taking a load of artillery or you're taking a load of shooting. Sort of like some of their combat troops don't really stand up to the other combat armies when you put them up against, like, Chaos or High Elves or Dwarves. They don't have the save, they don't have the weapon skill, they don't have the leadership, they don't have
any standout
feature. Unfortunately, which is kind of the charm of Empire.
Yeah, they fall into that, like, he's the basic humans, can we hold the line against these horrible fantasy forces? And like, I am one of those boring people that just want to play Landsknecht against troll hordes. Yeah, I am that person. So I think one of the things that they suffer from in not having that or any standout feature is that they've not got horde.
Yeah.
And this is not something that it will be addressed in this journal, by the way. They've not got horde, and they're not points costed to reflect the fact that there's no standout features. It's like, well, I'm like a combat res based army, like static res based army, but I've not got the additional rank that everyone's got. They've suffered in this edition because everyone gets close, which is essentially that first rank bonus. Mm-hmm. And then, like, oh shit, I'm like 8-9 points a model plus.
Quite pricey.
Yeah, with like weapon skill 3, light armor, no shield included.
Yeah. Do you know what? And this is a bonkers idea. And again, this isn't going to be addressed here. And this is just my thought. Standard toughness of an Empire Moog.
Go on.
Should be 4.
No, because then he's like a dwarf, man.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, but they won't be, though, because the weapon skill's still be rubbish and the leadership still be rubbish. It's just like that hard medieval living thing. Do you know what I mean? That's what I think. I know it's not the right answer, but in my head, I'm just like, oh, because they've got the Black Plague going around every 2 days in the Empire cities and stuff like that, haven't they?
Well, maybe if it was off like the captains and general giving these like nodes of like, if you can pass a leadership test with general, they're like, you've got stubborn all the time, or you've got toughness all the time. So it's like the guard order system that they used to have in 40k.
And I know you love that, don't you?
I love that.
And you do see that a little bit with the priests of Sigmar and the priests of Ulrich.
But leadership 7, man.
I know.
Leadership 7, it just never happens.
How holy are they that they have a low leadership?
I know. And do you know what does me in? There's no difference in profile between a priest of Sigmar and a priest of Ulrich. And the priests of Ulrich are literally meant to be like rock hard bastards because their deeds are what are like the prayers to Ulrich. It's not a worshipping order. It's an order that like we appreciate you getting stuck in,
lad.
Yeah. So in this journal, the way that I think that they've actually solved some of the problems is knights have always been like one of the crutches almost that you take. So we've got knightly orders, which I think is fairly successful. Like there's certainly one or two that like White Wolf, mate. Oh yes.
Has anyone noticed, by the way, that you just like modelled yourself on someone from Kislev?
Kislev? You take that back, sir. I'm a staunch Middenlander.
Yes. It somehow ends up with a Yorkshire accent.
Mate, he's in the middle of the UK. And he's Middenland.
So shouldn't you be like having a Burnley accent then? Like, I'm from Dudley or something like that. Burnley's further up north.
Goodbye, Americans. So, yeah, we've got them. So that's really good. Like, people have been leaning into cannons and like just taking people down that way. Nuln artillery train. Pretty good. The magic items, like, some of them work quite well. I wouldn't say it's the strongest bunch of magic items.
No, I think with the magic items, there's nothing revolutionary. Do you know, like when we've done some of these Arcane journals before, and we've seen some of these really...
The Chaos Spell Knife.
Yeah, Chaos Spell... That's what I'm referring to there, really. The Chaos Spell Knife. It really gives you...
Or the Taskmaster's Whip. Licorice Whip.
I knew you were going to say that. But, like, I think with that there, it gives you some... opens up to take different units from that one magic weapon. Some stuff that you wouldn't have normally taken before, like the Demon Prince. Like most people go, oh, why take that when I can take a Chaos Lord or a Dragon? But then when you get the Spell Knife and you make them a level 4, you've got this really nice model that can do both jobs of a Chaos Lord or Dragon and also a Chaos Sorcerer. I don't think you really see that in the Empire magic items in this Arcane journal.
But let's go through the magic items list. So, first one, we've got the hammer. The Hammer of Righteousness! It's 50 points and not worth dick. I'm just going to go straight in with that. So what it is, it's range combat, obviously. Strength +2, AP -2. Two-handed strikes last with magical attacks. And for each hit that you do... So slowing down the game. Yeah. Your opponent has to take a leadership check, and if they fail, it wounds automatically with no armor saves allowed. Regen wards are allowed. And if the test is passed, rolls to wound and armor allowed. So it's a great weapon. Yeah. With a leadership-based ability. I would have much preferred... Like, what's the Blade of Sotek? Or the Blade of the Jaguar.
Oh, do you mean
65 points?
Do you mean the one that's 65 points that just it's +1 strength and ignores all saves?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that is a set. I know it cuts out the wound step. Yeah. But I've already got +2 strength. I'm waiting to strike last because I've got a great weapon.
Yeah. I mean, I would have preferred it if. I mean, the leadership test does slow it down. I like this weapon, by the way, and you know this because I've been going about this hammer for ages. And I do like the weapon, but it's just rolling another step that's unneeded, really.
Yeah. And it's not going to work against, like... It might work, like, once every 2 games against a Lord level, but really, it's going to have to go into a unit. And you've got 3 attacks, 4 if it's on a Grandmaster. Yeah.
See...
And you don't want to be Spectral Doppelganger in this, because then they have to roll, like, average of 7... leadership tests.
I mean, I would have done it the other way around, you know. So I would have done that you roll your hits, roll your wounds, and if you fail to wound, you do the leadership test then.
So he's already cut out a bunch.
Yeah, so you've already cut out a bunch. You're only going to be doing, like, 1 leadership test.
Or, alternatively, 15 points more, because we know that's the going rate for it.
Yeah. And
no saves at all.
No saves. And then I would have still kept it with strikes last as well. I wouldn't have even messed around with that. I don't care about that.
Don't care about it.
But yeah, I agree with that.
It's another magic item, because this is fucking every 50+ point magic item that isn't the Blade of the... I'm going to call it the Blade of the Jaguar Warrior. As well as the Ogre Blade. Yeah. That just doesn't match up to the Ogre Blade.
Yeah, I mean...
And it's not a problem with the Ogre Blade. Oh my god, everyone's heard me say this. like 14 times now.
The Ogre Blade's not the issue. The Ogre Blade is where everything else needs to be brought up to.
Yeah, because I never get hit with the Ogre Blade and go, bullshit.
Yeah.
It's, you've hit me with your 65-point sword.
Yeah, you could only get your 5+ ward save on top of that because that's your allowance done. These 50-point magic items, it does allow you to take more stuff, but they just don't have enough killing power.
Yeah.
I mean, this needed an extra thing to it, like...
Especially in Empire, where it's like unless I'm doing a nightly orders list,
yeah, or
I'm themed around that, I'm going to be taking a general because it's Otto von Bompantaloon and he's Merry Men, and he's only got 3 attacks.
Yeah, so I would have maybe even thrown out, even keeping it the same way, throwing on multiple wounds on it. Yeah, multiple wounds too. If you pass the leadership test.
Yeah, that's where the leadership test.
That's where the leadership test is. So you roll to hit, roll to wound, do the leadership test, and it multiplies those wounds into multiple wounds.
Yeah, because
that would have been good. That, and then just do one leadership test as well. Then instead of doing 1 per hit.
Yeah, and comparatively, the Scar Vet, he's starting at strength 5. Yeah, has like 4 attacks to start. 5 because of the bite attack.
It's not a bite attack.
The not bite attack.
The bite attack that we could never find the rule for in any of the books.
He's just on Saurius Warriors. It was included in the profile of characters. So I think we all know feelings about that. Pearl Daggers for 35 points. Strength user, AP -1, extra attacks, D3 magical attacks. Takes up 2 hands. And the bearer of the Pearl Daggers may re-roll failed hit rolls during the combat phase. I don't think these are great. They're okay, right? He's extra attacks D3. There's already dueling blades that do that in the generics.
Yeah, I'm really on the fence with these ones, and it's not because of the rules. It's the 35 points, and because at 35 points, these I would be putting these on a Lord level character. I'd be putting them on a hero level 1,
which is now 2 attacks.
Which is now but then so I'm getting some worth out of them there.
Yeah.
But now I've only got 15 extra points to spend them on magical items. So if these were around 30, maybe 25...
If they were 30, and then you could have the Armour of Meteoric Iron.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I think it's just, for me, just the 5 points, too much. But yeah. I actually quite like them as just it's not a Blender Lord, because it's not going to
Because it's Empire.
Because it's Empire, but it's as good as a Blender Lord as you're going to get at Empire.
Yeah, he's not like a ninja, it's home brand Blender.
Yeah. Also, extra attacks. I'd have liked to have extra attacks D3 +1.
To make up for the fact that
you've got 2 hands. It's 2 hand weapons, isn't it?
Well, theoretically, it's 2 magical daggers.
Yeah,
so it's surely extra attacks 2d3. Because each one is magical.
Oh, you can't use 2 magical weapons.
That's it, is it? Right, so Blade of Silver Steel, 30 points, +1 strength, -1 AP, Hatred Undead, magical attacks, and may only be taken by orders and Knightly Orders, Army of Infamy. Undead models cannot make armor or regen saves against wounds caused with this weapon. If you know you were playing Undead relentlessly in your meta, and it's not tailoring, specifically not tailoring, because you're going to take it against dwarves if you come up against dwarves, but you just happen to play a lot of Undead.
Yeah.
It might be worth it. Otherwise, all these benefits, you might as well take a halberd.
Yeah,
and pay 3 points.
So if I was going to an event and I knew that I was, because at events sometimes you end up playing Order, don't you, instead of just playing Ravening Hordes.
Yeah.
If I knew I was taking Empire and I'd only be facing Ravening Hordes, I would probably throw this on somebody, because just going into vampires, which we see quite a lot, and then Tomb Kings, it'd be alright. But like,
if you stacked it on top of a Witch Hunter, yeah, but then you're like 90 points deep into whatever you've into Undead specifically. But Witch Hunters are like 60 points. Number plucked off my head there. Witch Hunters are like 60 points. It's not coming out of a specific character's magic item allowance. Oh, I'll take a Witch Hunter and have an extra 2 wounds somewhere.
Okay.
Like, it just confuses me. I don't like any of these. The only one that is like sort of okay is the one where you hate Skaven.
Oh yeah.
And also have like Frenzy as well.
Yeah. So you get a buff as well.
Yeah, I suppose there's probably a couple of them, I think. But yeah, those are the only ones. And still, you're paying for a special rule that's not going to come up it's only going to come up 1 in 13 times or 15 times.
Yeah.
And you're paying the premium for it. So you're in this hard place of like, I either take it and it's too good for the points and it's tailoring, or I take it and massively overpay for it in every game that I'm not facing Skaven. Van Trickshot's Wondrous Arquebus. Is that what it is? Van Trickshots. So
it's more of a heavy German accent now. Van Trickshots.
Von Trickshot. So it's 25 points, range 36, so 6 inches longer than any other crossbow. AP -2, armor bane 1, multiple wounds D3, and it can only be taken by a Nuln Army of Infamy and doesn't suffer -1 for long range. It's fairly good. It's okay.
I love that. I love it. It's just you're 36 inches.
Oh, it's strength 5, not strength user.
Yeah, it's strength 5. So you've got that. You've got 36 inches. Get it on your engineer, because your engineer can hide near your artillery and not be picked off. You've got 36-inch range, and then just start shooting it at, dragons, any large target. Most large targets don't have a good armor save, and I know you're wounded on 5s, but you're going to be hitting on 2s.
Yeah, so the placement of it as well, being on an engineer, because it's also not ponderous or cumbersome.
Yeah,
is one of the things. So you can be moving and shooting. It's good to. I think it's one of the good options to just throw on someone that, like, maybe he uses the crossbow this time rather than a pigeon bomb.
Yeah,
because pigeon bombs are terrible. But yeah, it's a fairly good inclusion for quite cheap and on something that you're never going to be using that magic items allowance.
Yeah, I actually really like. I really like it. I think at the 25 points as well, it starts seeping into some characters as well that can sort of like.
So I've been in my Empire setup at the moment, not taking the Griffin standard on a BFB.
Right.
I've been taking that on a veteran state troops standard.
Yeah.
And utilising the BSB just as a war banner.
Right.
So just so that it can't get sniped out of that unit, essentially. And then my thing is like, oh well, do I actually just leave him out of the unit, sacrifice those combat rares, but just have my reroll hanging about? And then this is quite good to just like put on, it will be it's Nuln Army of Infamy, so it'd be like on a standard bearer that can be an engineer that's just hanging about. He's being near units, he needs to be able to move, so then has to take a dragon bow or this. Can't take a Hochland long rifle.
So I would have actually liked one extra rule I'd have liked on this, by the way, but then I would have wanted points bumped up. Is that you can, what is it where you pick?
Yeah, like the Hochland long rifle.
Yeah, you could pick somebody out, and I think that would have then.
Yeah, with multiple wounds D3 might have been too much, because you just be like,
Lord,
I do you.
Duff.
Yeah,
gone. Fair enough. Yeah, that might have been a bit too pricey.
But yeah, it's an okay magic item. It's competing with the dragon bow. I don't see point much one way or the other. Do you know these benefits and downsides to either the dragon bow and this? So do whichever you fancy, I suppose. Next, we've got the Shield of the Gorgon. So it's only in a Knightly Order's Army of Infamy. In addition, is a shield that can only be taken in the Knightly Order's Army of Infamy. In addition, while in base contact with the bearer, enemy models suffer a -1 modifier to their attacks characteristic to a minimum of 1. So I think that should be it's a shield in addition.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't actually. I suppose it is a. Yeah,
the shield of it is a shield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. -1 attacks. It's the fact that he's only in base contact when you get in like slug skin and stuff that affects the entire unit.
Yeah.
And it's like 50 points, and the entire enemy unit is at -1 to hit, or like Diabolic Splendor. I know that I'm naming just chaos things now, but everyone is strikes last in the opposing unit.
Yeah.
I do think it's a bit steep for my tastes in this.
40 points is too much for me. 40 points is too much for me because if you're taking this, you're not taking a magic weapon and a ward save.
Yeah, and you need them to compete.
And you need them to compete with any. This is a combat lord that's going on. You're not throwing this just on your normal captain. You know, it's your general, really. So you want to have it so you can take enough so you can dish out some damage. But 40 points is a bit too high. It is in, and as you said there, because it's in base to base, it's not in line with the other ones that do something similar. Like Slugskin's 50 points, I think it is. But for 50 points, it's the entire unit.
Which is then definitely
worth it. And I probably would have liked it to have been the entire unit. Or, you know, Gorgon, you know, maybe -1 initiative as well. Just throw that in there.
Just sprinkle it in.
Sprinkle it in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So, thrice placed armour, 25 points. It's suit of full plate. In addition, you can cast Hammer Hand from the Battle Magic at power level 2. So Hammer Hand is like 2d3 strength 4s.
-1 AP.
-1 AP. It's 25 points. It fits in there. Sadly, it doesn't fit into like a hero level.
Yeah.
With a Talisman of Protection. And it obviously is a suit of armour, so you can't have Meteoric and this. I don't personally rate Hammer Hand that much. It is some extra hits. I think it's better than those daggers.
So when I'm looking at this, full plate is 4 points.
Yeah.
So this is technically 21 points.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice little buff for 21 points. If you're gonna, you know, if I was gonna take full plate on something, I would definitely consider this. I quite like a set. I love assailment spells.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about Doppelganger. I love using.
Phil loves Doppelganger.
I love Doppelganger. No, but I like using assailment spells and having a combat character where I've got an assailment spell on them. I think just really helps.
It will add that little bit to knights or to things like that. Well, to anything that I suppose actually your output in an Empire army is quite low.
Yeah.
So this is quite a big boost to a combat character.
I think so. You know, it's power level 2, so it still suffers from that bit where it's gonna get dispelled more often than not. So you've just got to be wary of that. But I quite like it for, you know, as I said, technically 21 points.
Do you know where it could go quite nicely? Pegasus hero that has this armour that flies about trying to get in contact with level 2s, and then you go, oh, at my initiative 7 on the charge, I hammer hand you, you're in combat, you can't dispel.
You can.
It can't be dispelled. So with the Pegasus guy, you just fly in and like, here's an extra 2d3.
Yeah.
Unlucky, mate. Unlucky.
Well,
and that's quite a cheap, like Pegasus is really cheap. Captain of the Empire, really cheap.
That's actually really, really good, that.
It'd be like 140 points or something for this Pegasus Captain. Which I quite like Pegasus Captain. You used to be able to do them with like 2 pistols. Like a brace and like fly in and like annihilate people on the way.
That would actually be quite a unique sort of way of ensuring that you're doing it. Also, you'd be pretty good at beating a beating a ranked up unit as well.
What, just adding in that extra little bit?
Well, yeah, with a Pegasus, because you could just go in and you've got the Pegasus, you've got the Captain, and you've got this. So
you've got this, mate.
You've got this. You've got the Twin Blessed Armour. Then you'll probably have it so you're able to then.
Do you know what? You've convinced me on this. I like this for Pegasus guy.
Yep.
It is decided. It is decided. So then we've got the Witch Hunter's Ward that people other than Witch Hunters can in fact take. It's extremely common at 20 points. You've got magic resistance -2, so it's cheaper than 2 lodestones. In addition, once per game, the bearer of the Witch Hunter's Ward can re-roll a single failed armour save. If you want a lodestone, it's better than that. And do you know, it's fairly nice. Like a re-roll one armour save is like, I think that's 5 points or 10 points. I don't know because I've never taken
something like that. But I quite like this. At 20 points as well, you can sprinkle it for your army.
Yeah, well, it's one of them that I I don't see myself ever taking this because I never take those like gain a magic resistance thing.
Yeah.
I'm always like, I'll just dispel it, mate.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna dispel it. I don't need to worry about magic resistance. I'll just roll better than you.
The heart of the dice.
Yeah.
It's gonna roll better than you. It's gonna roll better.
Yeah, and you have taken lodestones on a bunch of things before and made me hate my life because I've just not been able to cast any spells on you. But yeah, it's a nice little thing if you're already considering lodestones. It's just not my personality trait.
No, I would take this. I'd be putting it on my like champions in my units. So like your inner circle knights, I'd throw this on. My demigryph knights, I'd throw this on. It just means that you don't have to rely so much on that wizard.
You mean like on the champion?
On the champion, yeah. I don't, because your champion's the last one to die as well now in the order of removing models.
Yeah.
You've just got a -2. +2 to your -2 to your casting, or +2 to the difficulty.
Yeah, I'm unlucky. I'm re-rolling a failed armor save.
Yeah, and then I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to re-roll that failed armor save 2 up to keep him alive. So I don't think I quite like it. It's not going to help you against anything that's like what do you call it, vortexes, because they don't target that unit, sadly. So
yeah, but it's a nice little addition.
Yeah,
So, Slayer's Hourglass, 10 points. Enemy models whose troop type is monster suffer a -1 weapon skill whilst in base contact with the bearer of the Slayer's Hourglass. So, it's 10 points. It's a nice little... It's very situational, obviously. You're likely, as an Empire character, going to lose to that model anyway.
Yeah.
Likely. But it does obviously make you that little bit tankier. Your difference in weapon skill is...
So, you're hitting on 3s more often than not.
If it's a monster, mate.
If it's a monster... Most of them are weapon skill 4, weapon skill 3, aren't they? So you're going to be hitting on 3s or 4s. That's still going to be hitting you on 4s. There's no monster that I can think of at the top of my head that's going to be hitting you on, like, 3s. Probably the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, I think.
Or dragons.
Or dragons.
Well, do you know where I see this being used?
Go on.
In combination with a Priest of Ulrich.
Right.
So that the Priest of Ulrich makes you do 2 multiple wounds too.
Yeah.
And you take this, so then all your 50, 60 veteran state troops that you've got in a single unit, they all go, okay, there's 20 of us in this rank,
right,
and we're 3 deep,
and you're just going to have to...
And we're going to spike you with... we're now hitting you on 3s, and then, yeah, we're wounded on 6s, but we've got 41 attacks.
For everyone that goes through, you're taking 2 wounds. And,
yeah.
And do you know what? You've played against enough of monsters that I've ran,
yeah.
And it's not about... it's weight of attacks with monsters, isn't it? That's what pulls them down, because they've usually got rubbish armour, high toughness, high wounds. So if you're able to do that with this, and just like...
If you can sneak the multiple wounds too, because that is a very good thing in the Empire list, is that multiple wounds too. And especially if you've snuck a load of wounds through already with like cannons, it just finishing it off and having Pikeman Jim. Yeah. He's come out of his turnip fields and he really knows how to spike someone with his spear. He forgot his shoes. He's the model that forgot his shoes. But yeah, he's just... The
other one though, this could be good again on your Pegasus hero captain. Could tie up a monster all game.
No, I reckon he dies too easy.
I don't think he will.
He's only got 3 wounds at like toughness 4.
Yeah, but the thing is though, is then getting that monster to be able to hit you.
Oh, it's only -1 weapon skill, so the monster goes down by 1 and still hits you on 4s. Whereas, yes, you're hitting it prior. I see this as more like an offensive buff than it is a defensive buff.
Okay.
Because you're not going to really get them down to weapon skill. Because even like...
You need them at weapon skill 2.
Yeah.
Or weapon skill 3 on a Grandmaster.
No, because you're not double +1 then.
Oh, is it double +1?
Yeah.
Still, I always, I can't ever remember in my head if it's double +1 or double.
We'll forgive you. We'll forgive you.
Thank you.
The magic standards, we've got the Banner of the Knights Panther for 80 points. It belongs to the Knights Panther only.
Funnily enough.
a unit carrying the banner of the Knights Panther gains the Unbreakable special rule. It doesn't specifically state it belongs to the Knight Panther, but they're in Middenheim and they get into it all the time with the Knights of the White Wolf. So maybe my Knights of the White Wolf have just stole it because it doesn't prohibit me. It just says it belongs to him.
Well, apart from it says battle standard bearer belonging to the Order of the Knights Panther only. Only. Not that he just belongs to him. You're going, you're right, pal. Can I just borrow this for a couple of hours?
Give us that.
The fact that he only kind of makes it like you can't take it.
Yeah. The battle standard bearer belongs to the Knight Panther, but he's fighting in my White Wolf army at the moment.
Right.
I just don't see why. Why is it so specific? And I know they're taking a bit more centre stage with like the character and stuff like that. It's a nice little banner, Unbreakable, good. There's not many units, I don't think, that truly need it though, because they're too, like cavalry, are too expensive to have that massive unit of them that really benefits that much from Unbreakable. So I want to be winning combats with my cavalry
and then pushing them on.
Yeah, so that I get my lances again and again.
I mean, I've always had that one model in a unit that's unbreakable and I just can't kill it for some reason.
Yeah.
Is it worth 80 points though? I don't know. How many times has that happened to me? We've all had that one dwarf slayer that will not die. You know, it's a troll slayer that will not die and he's tied up that unit for the entire game. If it was on like a huge, but that's the thing though. It's a toughness 4 model. These are it's going to be on toughness 3.
If I could put this on a spearman block that had so many numbers, it would make up for the fact that like you're killing me all the time.
Yeah,
I'd be like, yeah. Or even if you could take like Bretonnian Foot Knights, but Knights of the Panther Foot Knights.
Oh.
Spoilers that they're not going to be in later in the guide.
They're not here. They're not here.
Yeah, if you could do that, then brilliant. But I Unbreakable is a good rule. I don't think its placement works.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that is that. More agreement, more hard, turgid agreement. So, Tapestry of Sigmar's Triumph, 40 points. Unit carrying the Tapestry of Sigmar's Triumph may re-roll any wounds of a natural 1 during the first round of combat. I'm in two minds about it. There's knights are already getting that for like
in a circle
knights, right?
No, in a circle get.
Oh, is it to hit of 1?
They get to hit.
So we've been to the book, and Priests of Sigmar are reroll wounds of 1. Knight first. Inner circle knights
or wounds.
Yeah, but this stacks nicely just with the inner circle knights one,
which re-roll 1s to hit. Put this on, you're saving yourself. What is it? What's the Priest of Sigmar basic points?
60 points.
And then is it like 18 for the horse or 14 for the horse? I think it is
around that.
Around that.
Yeah. So
you save yourself quite a lot by having it on your standard bearer and you're in a circle.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just a reliable little way of getting it rather than having to rely on that leadership of 7 or 8, depending on like whether you've gone base priest
or archlector.
Yeah, so it's fairly nice. It stacks up nicely with them. It's one of the better banners up to now. The Icon of Maw, however, for 25 points, I think is one of the best ones that you can take as Empire, because you've got basically a unit carrying the Icon of Maw gains the Fear special rule, and it gets changed to Terror as per if you already have Fear.
Yeah.
Which Demigryphs already cause Fear, so they can have a magic standard at 50 points. So that's immediately like a use of it getting Terror into your army there. And then just having a massive unit to trigger Fear for only 25 points. Oh, my Spearman now cause Fear. And it's in my mind.
Swordsman cause Fear.
Yeah, and do I think that unit is going to be the best unit ever? No. But I'm desperate to find a way that is even slightly better to be able to use like a big unit of
I
spear
think the Icon of More is really, really good. Like, you put it on cavalry, you put it on demigriffs, because you've got the unit strength 2 and unit strength 3 on them, you've got more chance of doing it. You've got Empire do favour big units of infantry, so even though they're chopping you away, it's all about that charge and things like that. Can they actually do it?
Yeah.
So
and if it gets you an extra turn of shooting,
yep.
And then you get like going in, if you manage to use the detachment rule, like you've both whittled them down an extra turn with your fear.
Yep.
And then, yeah, it's just a good chance for 25 points that if you're not putting it on the demigriffs, which I think is the obvious use.
I think it is. I think that's where I'll go, just because Terra's so good.
Yeah. But like comparative, let's do the banner of the Free State of Nuln, and then let's do a comparison of banners. So, can only be taken by a city-state of Nuln. A unit carrying this gains stubborn. I think it's trash, Phil. It's trash. Because you already have like quite common like stubborn across the army. There's already a banner in just generic that gives you stubborn. And although it's much more expensive than that, like it's a cheaper way of getting stubborn into your army.
Yeah, I think that's where I would put it as. It's 20 points.
Yeah, I'd just like to have seen a little bit more from Empire Magic banners in total. This is the complain cast for me.
So
I love Empire.
I would have liked it if this was something to do with shooting. More, because it's Nuln, City of Nuln Empire specific banner.
Yeah.
But I don't mind stubborn for 20 points.
No, certainly not. But as you say, like maybe shooting, or maybe like an enhancement of your detachment of halberdiers and the handgunners. Like it doubles you like the stand and shoot combat res.
Well, maybe like your detachments don't suffer -1 for standing and shooting.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. But for 20 points for stubborn, I'm not. When you're looking at big units that can take stubborn, I'm thinking sort of. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any. We're gonna consult the book.
Well, great swords obviously have it, but great swords have got problems of their own.
Yeah.
You've not got it on your veteran state troops,
right?
But I mean, like so you sort of you might need to put stubborn on them, but if you're taking veteran state troops or state troops, you want to be so big anyway that you're taking your unmodified, and just like for by going anyway.
Well,
and that's where you want your battle standard bearer anyway, and there's no way to then turn that into like a shield wall to give ground, which would be great.
Yes,
that's what I wanted from this banner. Turn a Fabigo into shield, like give it a shield wall.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one of the things the Empire lack, is they run into my gun line or into my lines after I've shot them a bit, and then a Fabigo, and I pop through anything else.
Yeah,
and I just want the ability to just stand here just for a turn. Just for a turn, Phil. Give me a turn. But yeah, that is the banners. Like comparatively to in the rule book, like the Fear banner is obviously great. We've got the Banner of the Empire, 3d6 when making Fear, Panic or Terror, which overlaps with your Captain and General rule. Fear banner's better. Griffin Standard, obvious take. Would have liked to see it with Horde as well, but this is now Empire changes rather than like Arcane Journal changes. Welcome to the entire analysis of the Empire guide. So we've got the Gleaming Pendant, reroll a single failed leadership test, but you've got a lot of access to veteran.
Yeah.
And it's very cheap. It's cheaper than going for, say, like a veteran state troop. But really, I want the weapon skill 4 as well.
Yeah. So like, you're going to be buying that anyway, aren't you?
Yeah, because I flip-flop between my bigger regimental unit being veteran and normal.
Yeah.
Just because, well, it almost doesn't matter about that counter-charging detachment. Like getting a defensive buff, because they're going to get an initiative bonus as well.
Yeah.
So, and then Banner of Duty, reroll the failed rally. So, actually, I think like with Griffin banner, we have seen a just as good banner in the Fear banner, Yes! And then Phil likes the reroll once to wound, which is wrong.
That Tapestry of Sycamar's Triumph is quality for 40 points.
Do you think we've desynced yet with Guerrilla Miniature Games' guide?
Absolutely.
Right. Well, let's get back on track by going into the next.
And we're not going to go. Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, we're just catching him up. We're catching him up. So we've got Squintoffin's Marvellous Magnifier for 35 points. It's only for City-States of Nuln. The bearer of the magnifier and any unit they've joined don't gain the -1 to hit at long range. This is great.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
Like, it's playing into the handguns that you want anyway.
Yeah.
And it's fairly cheap.
Get that hill. Get 20 handgunners with this on it.
Only 20? Are we not doing 180 in a block? So that when they charge me with their dragon,
it just stays there.
Here's 180 shots into dragon.
I like this. I like the name more than anything else as well. Squintsoffen. Marvellous Magnifier. And do you know what? It's a common magic item as well.
Ah, it's because he's just invented it.
Yeah.
It's not a magic item. It's actually...
It's just a telescope.
Yeah.
It's just a scope.
Sick. Get one on every engineer.
Yeah.
And your engineer BSB. All of them. So, spoilers for the City-State of Nuln. We've got the Ring of Fortune, 20 points. It's single use. Reroll failed to wound rolls during the combat phase just for the bearer. It's not bearer and mount. It suffers from laurels of victory because really, like, your mount is the better one.
9 times out of 10.
9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, it's
alright.
It's alright. 20 points is pretty cheap for it. You know, it's okay.
I'm spending my magical item allowance elsewhere, I think, before I spend it.
Yeah, and I think that's my issue there. Like, what you want it on is a combat lord. Combat lord is usually going to need it to have a magical weapon. When it has a magical weapon, then you look.
I also need a talisman of protection or white
exactly.
smoke. Yeah. What? Or that's Phil's sneeze.
You're going to leave that in, aren't you? You're going to leave that in and want to see how everybody thinks I'm a weird sneezer.
So we've got next the Ring of Tal for 20 points. It's single use, and the bearer of the ring can cast Oaken Shield as a bound with a level 4.
Level 3.
Level 3, sorry, yeah. I really like the Ring of Tal. It's Ulrich's big brother, and he is a protection bubble. I think it's perfect. It's range self, so you can cast it when you're already in combat. And yes, it's single use, but for that clutch turn that you need to have a load more people survive.
Yeah, the only thing is that you cast it obviously in your turn. And I think that's just the spells. The thing with the spells. So like you have to be very confident you're going to make that charge, or if you've taken that charge, you are now able to cast it. And I think that's a spell thing, though. That's an enhancement thing.
Yeah.
That's nothing to do with this ring. I think it's really, really good. Especially that it's power level 3.
Yeah,
rather than 2. A lot of bound spells are 2. This is 3, which means it's less likely to get dispelled. So, yeah.
We like it. And we're going to move on, despite the fact both liking it, because let's not hard agree for too long on it. But I think it's limited by your imagination as to what unit it should go into, because you want a ward save on any unit that's going into combat.
Yeah. Like
if you. Well, of course I want to protect my demigryphs. Of course I want to protect my insert X unit here.
Inner circle, nice, whatever. I think one of the great things is it's 20 points. It can go on a champion.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing there. It's because it's an enchanted item. Yeah. I always call it an enhancement item then, but that's what it does. Because it's an enchanted item. It can go on your champions. A lot of demigryphs in a circle. They can take this, so that's where I think it's good. I probably won't put it on a character. I will be putting it on those champions. Yeah,
because you are the one with the Hockland long rifle.
Yeah, or you are the one that's, your combat lord will benefit from it because it's a unit enhancement where your lord can benefit from it. So I quite like throwing it on a champion, and that's where I think you would see it in.
Yeah, agreed.
Units.
Unless you get constantly done in by Waywatcher Lords, but you don't really see them
Not now.
anymore. Yeah,
Not since the FAQ. There's not that many knocking about.
yeah, and if you are the Empire player at the event or gaming group, you're likely to be the only Empire player at the gaming group. So you don't have to worry about Hocklands.
Yeah.
So yeah. We've got next in the Arcane items section, you've got the Twin-Tailed Wand for 40 points. Once per turn, you may attempt to cast one of their spells a second time. Should you miscast, however, you're overwhelmed by the winds of magic, and instead of rolling on the miscast table, suffer D3 wounds with no armor or regen. And you've not got armor anyway, because you're a wizard, so it's just no regen. But you can attempt wards.
Okay.
So if you cast the bound spell on a unit containing that wizard, you've now got a 5-up ward.
Yeah.
Which you can take against these D3 wounds. And it's always good to cast a spell twice. Here's my 3 fireballs from my ring, my fireball, and my second fireball.
Here is my 2 pillars of fire that I'm just going to put out, because they would just keep on going.
Why did I say fireball?
I know, but it's once per turn. So you could just be like, there's 2 vortexes, or you dispel them, there's 2 more vortexes. And it's miscast, isn't it? So it's not
all the time.
It's not all the time. It's very, you could probably look at mitigating that quite well. I mean, how many times does it actually happen in a game?
Yeah.
Not often.
Well, sometimes a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, not enough to put me off taking this item. I'd probably take it on a level 3 rather than a level 2. Just so that average I don't die.
Yeah. I really think this, as you said, there's 3 fireball spells a turn. You're mowing down things, especially stuff that's monstrous infantry like ogres and minotaurs hate fireball just because it pumps out so many wounds.
Is that like the tagline of the video? Like, doctors hate this.
Doctors hate this.
Minotaurs hate fireball, and here's why.
But anything that doesn't have like a high save just really hates fireball because it just does so many wounds, and wounds most things on 3s or 2s. High elves. Imagine going up to high elves and you just go, there's my 3 fireballs.
Or Phil, if you've already got enough shooting, have earthen ramparts. Have earthen ramparts. Here's a miasmic mirage. You can't charge next turn.
Yeah.
I'm going to attempt to cast that twice.
Yeah.
Like, the possibilities are endless. It's another one. I think this is a really, really good magic item.
Yeah.
For Empire. Yes, excellent. We've got the Tome of Midnight, 30 points, +1 to any of their casting rolls when they attempt to cast spells from the lore of Demonology, Dark Magic, or Necromancy. In addition, they know 1 more spell than is normal for their level of wizardry. And it's going to be from one of those lores, because you can't mix lores. And you're obviously going to pick one.
Yeah.
However, you can only cast a number of spells equal to their level of wizardry per turn. And are subject to loner, so you can't join a unit. Now, that little bit at the end slightly decreases my like for the item. And that's because I really like Demonology in an Empire list.
Yeah.
Because of like Vigor, Vessel, all of them making you into a Nails combat unit from nothing. And having Loner, so then I can't join a unit to cast Vigor, because it's range self.
Yeah.
And it's like self and unit does this. But because you can't join that unit, it decreases my life. Necromancy is really good though.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably... Loner does... It is a massive negative to this. But taking the magic carpet, the flying carpet, and this, and just moving wherever you want to be able to put those... I think more for me, it would be Necromancy and Dark Magic, because they're the ones that are more attacking the other player, rather than Demonology, which is more buffing your unit.
But it's got the summoning.
Yeah.
So you just like... Da, 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 da.
But if you got Vigor... and
so long as you don't get Vessel.
If you get Vessel and Familiars, then...
man, but Familiars is... I've come to appreciate it as like a... You're not expecting to kill a unit or something.
No.
But if you're wizard, like, we're doing this wizard dance, and I've managed to, like, you've not really taken into account...
I just got the Labyrinth song in it. Wizard dance, wizard dance, dance.
Yeah, so you're doing the wizard dance, and the enemy wizard comes near you. I'm going to assume that I'm on Pegasus.
Right.
Or even Warhorse. And he's like, you've just got that little bit too close to me. And I'm like, hiya! Forward, Shadowfax! And then, bam, hit 2d6 strength 2s.
With no armour.
With no armour, because you're a wizard. And it just like, bam! Unlucky. You've just been done, son. That's what I like about demonology.
I mean, I still think it's. I still like it. I really like the first two arcane items in this. I really do like the first two. I think it's.
But there's many ways from those 3 magic laws. They're all solid.
Yeah.
And outside of that one like fringe example of vigor.
Yeah.
And even if you do get vigor, you can just be like, oh, in that turn that I'm gonna summon in you, I'm gonna have +1 attack as well.
Well, imagine getting on a griffin and putting that on it. By the way,
What? Can you take an Imperial Griffin as a wizard lord? Yeah, you can. So, and he's basically just an Empire General anyway, because the Empire General, for anyone that's new to Empire, is useless. Completely useless. You might as well be a wizard.
So, wizard with Tome of Midnight, you get 5 out of the 6 demonology spells. Well, 5 out of the 7, technically.
Yeah.
And you just go, it don't matter if you get Vigor, Vessel, and Summoning, because you've got the Griffin that's going to be doing the damage. That will get +1 attack, +1 toughness, +1 to its initiative, +1 to its safety, +1 move, +1 to its strength.
+1 everything!
And just before you charge, you go, oh yeah, I'm just going to give you -2 to your leadership as well before I charge it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's
the way. That's the way.
And then you've still got 70 points to spend on, your ward save.
But I think at point of that, there's many ways.
There's loads of different ways.
There's many ways. Anyway, so we've got Crystal Ball for 20 points is the final.
You're just going to call it Crystal Column then?
Yeah. So once per turn, you can make your opponent reroll a single to hit or to wound made against a friendly character that's within command range of the bearer of the Crystal Ball.
I don't know how I feel. I quite like it.
Once per turn is quite good. You're quite low toughness though.
Yeah.
Even on your Griffin, you're only toughness 5. It's just a thing. I don't think it's bad. I think I'd be spending my magic item allowance elsewhere.
The twin-tailed wand or the Tome of Midnight.
Yeah.
Or the Law Familiar.
Certainly. Or even the wizarding armour that a wizard can take if I'm going combat wizard.
Yeah.
Or spectral doppelganger in the hell out of an ogre blade. On a griffin. Yeah, so that is the new magic items. I think overall, like especially considering the Ring of Tal, to me that's the standout one, as well as the Fear Banner increasing your demigryphs by so much. There's a few corkers in there. Absolute nails. I don't think it's as good as the boosts that Chaos got, but I think they're good. I'm not upset about them.
I'm 50-50 all day, bro. I'm 50-50 all day.
50-50 all day. Do you know what? Yeah, but I'm... Yeah, I'd say even, yeah. If we go to 50-50 and meet in the middle, I'm happy that it's not 30-70, 36-70 all the time.
Yeah, I think there's some nice little additions in there.
Yeah.
And I think it will make you build your army in a different way taking them.
Yeah, certainly. So, with that, let's get on to the city-state of Nuln. So this is, obviously, the Army of Infamy. You're going to get the telescope, the non-magical magical item telescope, as well as the Banner of Stubbornness.
Yeah, and the Abacus.
Yes. Yeah. So the changes for the actual composition of the list, you can have an engineer as your battle standard bearer. You've got 0 to 1, generally the Empire or Lector of Sigmar per 1,000 points. Pretty standard. Captains, Master Mages, Witch Hunters, Priests of Sigmar and Engineers. And then
standard that, and it's just the Grandmasters and the
well,
Chapter Masters that are missing.
Yeah, he's 0-1 War Rattler of Sigmar. What I would have liked to see is like a Master Engineer, like Master Engineer von Squintenberg shows up.
Like a captain level engineer,
like a general level.
A general level engineer. Sorry,
yeah. But it is what it is. You've got in your core 1 regiment of Nuln state troops or Nuln veteran state troops. Ooh, what are them? Ooh. Piqued my interest. We'll get to it in a minute. We've got 0-1 Outriders per 1,000 points. That's pretty good.
They're amazing.
The multiple shots 3 and having them in your core, and anything that is like decent in your core is great.
Yeah.
Like if it reaches the level of decent, it's much better than it actually is.
They've got Skirmish, they've got Vanguard, they've got Swift Stride if you want to just do anything there. The guns are 24 inches, so if you get them in a good position, they can just sit there and they're just mowing down things, really.
Yeah, for like comparative cost.
They're like 110 points for like 6, I think, or something like that.
Well, they're better than handgunners in ballistic skill.
Yep.
And they're about the cost of 3 handgunners. So if you take off the 1 for multiple shots, you're now the same ballistic skill as handgunners.
Yeah.
And you've got 3 the same number of shots, except now you've got a Vanguard move, so you're shooting first turn, and I think you can fire and flee, and you've also got a pistol, a singular pistol, so you can still ride about shooting.
Yeah.
And be like a pistolier, except you don't have to charge all the time when you don't want to.
No, they're an amazing unit. Probably one of the best units in the Empire book.
Which means they're okay to everyone else.
It means that everyone else has got something better.
Yeah. But that's a happy level for the Empire.
They come with heavy armour as well, which is better than
the nothing that handgunners get.
Exactly. No, I think they're great.
Nothing.
I think they're great.
Yeah. Next, we've got 3 Company Militia Empire Archers. Cool. Special, you've got Great Swords Pistoliers, Outriders, Empire Knights, and War Wagons. Ooh, War Wagons. A 0-3 per 1,000 Great Cannons and Mortars, which is, let me just consult the book, is exactly the same as the normal one. Well, I'm not unhappy at that. At 2k, if someone's taking more than 6 Great Cannons,
then I'm not
even one.
I'm not even putting my army down, I don't think.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, well, not even that I think it's...
I'll go for lunch.
Yeah, well, I don't even think that it's a positive for either army. It's just I still think it's a bad choice to have, like, say, 7 Great Cannons.
Yeah.
I just think it's not a great play experience.
No. And you know what? We do... Everyone plays competitively. I hate this where it's, fluff or competitive. Everyone is...
I want to win.
Everyone wants to win. Everyone's being competitive. But, like, most of the times I'm playing with friends and stuff like that. So, when I turn up and they go, I've got 6 cannons, I'm like, well,
come on, mate.
This is 3 hours out of my day.
Yeah, we're meant to be having a good time.
Yeah, where I'm just going to be...
It's a competitive good time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So...
Like my marriage.
So, into rare, as is Phil's marriage, we've got Road Wardens, which are, spoilers for later, better pistoliers.
Yeah.
And 0-2 War Machines from Hellblaster, Hellstorm, Rocket Battery, and Steam Tank per 1,000.
Is that the same in the normal Army of Infantry? The normal Grand...
No, it's a separate bullet point in the normal army. In this one, it's the same 0-2 per 1,000, but then it's 0-1 in the main book, so you can have more Hellblasters. Because you could have 3 Hellblasters and a Stank.
Right.
Whereas in the normal book, you could only have 2 Hellblasters and 2 Stanks.
Right.
So it's a bit more variety overall.
Yeah.
I say variety. A bit more spammability overall. Mercenaries, you've got Imperial Ogres, Shock Horrors, another new unit, Imperial Dwarfs, and then 0-2 Doomseekers, which... Doomseekers are just what Slayers should be.
Yes.
Or at least in the context of an Empire army. So I will be using Notrek, the Dwarf.
Oh, Notrek.
Yeah, Notrek the Dwarf. I'm really good at naming conventions. So Notrek the Dwarf will just be representing a Doomseeker in my list. So we've got that. Imperial Dwarfs. I love their pleated puffy sleeved goodness, but they're not great. Don't expect miles from them. They have got access to shield wall.
Right.
So they've got stubborn and shield wall. That is where you get it in the list. And actually, I think it's a big boost. Like overall, they're not great.
What are your thoughts about that straight away, though? Just looking at it without going into anything else. What do you think about the army makeup?
Give me context.
So
I think it looks like a normal army.
just like with the things that you can take in there.
Phil's baiting me because we started recording when we did at the start of the day, and I was trying to hold off. I sort of think this army composition and otherwise, bullshit. I'm really happy for you if you play Nuln, but I know what a Nuln army looks like, and it looks like an army I could do from the normal list. Right? Is my thing. And if you want to be told, like, this is the Nuln army, cool. You go for it, man. I want to see what an Ostermark army is. I want to see what a Stir River Patrol army is.
I want to see a Moot army.
Yeah, man. Like, giants allowed in the list. Like, because where are the giants in the Empire list? Where are the giants? We can't get them. I would have liked to see stuff like that, but instead we get the Nuln list that I've seen every edition since 6th edition. But anyway, back onto the hype train. Yeah. So we've got, for the actual army special rules, we've got Empire engineers gain immune to psych while a friendly war machine is within their command range. Cool, it's a bonus. It means that you don't care if handgunners run past you because you already don't care if a war machine gets destroyed.
Yeah.
You've got entrenched position during deployment. You can entrench a single non-character model whose troop type is war machine for each engineer your army includes. It's considered to be behind partial cover and be defending a low linear obstacle. Should the war machine move for any reason, it's no longer entrenched. So, Night Goblin fanatics die. Partial cover, it's nice.
It's -1 to hit.
But you're already toughness 7, so bows don't do you in that much anyway.
Yeah.
So, it's just a little bit nice. It's just a little bit nice. You've got gun limbers, 0 to 1 war machine per 1,000 points, chosen from the following list. Gains Vanguard and Veteran special rules, and it's got like 5 points for a Great Cannon, 5 points for a mortar, 15 for a Hellblaster, and 10 for a rocket battery. Vanguard... But I suppose the biggest usage of this for me is getting cannons on the flanks a bit further forwards. If you can project enough board control round the sides to shut down your opposing flanking units, it gets your cannons that bit more into the side arcs of everything.
So, for the Great Cannon and Mortar, I think Veteran is 5 points anyway.
Yeah.
So in the normal list,
you just gain Vanguard.
Vanguard, so I don't see any downside to that at all. I think that's actually, you might as well just take it just to get Vanguard as well.
Yeah, so it's 5 points cheaper for the Great Cannon and Mortar.
Right. Okay.
So it is a thing. It's a thing. It's quite nice. Veteran means I'm not running away if a big unit of state troops goes past me. Vanguard is fairly useful if you can project that board control. If not, you just a turn closer to being charged.
Well, I think as well, it's a good thing for the sort of like your Hellblaster that's got a shorter range on it. You know, you put it so it's got a firing line. People are going to deploy closer to their deployment zone, aren't they? Because like, you're not going to be able to hit that. Move it forward, and you've got your turn 1 shots off. So I think it's good for a bait and switch sort of moving things. Well, yeah, because if you put your war machines down, and the other person will put their units where they're going to be either out of line of sight of the war machines or they're out of literal range of them, and you're like, well, I've got Vanguard. There you go, and you're moving forward. Unlucky. There you go. Boom, 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 boom. And I think that's, as you said, if you put them like in the middle, you can move your cannons then over to the flanks where somebody might put more. It's only like 3 inches,
4 inches though, isn't it? So it's just a little bit.
4 inches. It's a little bit. It's not as good as if it's like something that's mounted, but I still think it's quite a nice little addition, especially when it's cheaper than just buying Veteran. Yeah. And you don't need to Vanguard as well. You can put it down and just go, oh, they're entrenched.
So next we've got handgun drill. Once per game, each detachment of state missile troops in a city-state of Nuln army can fire with an additional rank. I imagine this includes veteran state troops, not just state missile troops, because it's under the same listing, but they've listed them separately elsewhere. So each unit can fire an additional rank. It's a nice rule. It's nice that my Nuln dudes can kneel down for a turn, but they get their puffy pantaloons
dirty,
all soggy if they kneel down for too long. So it's only once a game. The problem with this is that if I'm in 2 ranks, I don't want to have sacrificed that second rank's firing all the time to just have that second rank once. And if I reform,
you're not firing.
I'm not firing. Or I'm firing at -2 for a turn.
Yeah.
So if I reform into 2 ranks, I'm at -2 that turn, even if I'm firing in 2 ranks. It gives a bit of flexibility to, like, I've made up for condensing by getting more shots this turn. But
I like it. I mean, it's a free rule, isn't it? It's nice, but, I'm not taking 20 handgunners. I'm taking 10.
Yeah, well, it maybe you would take 20 now, because the problem with even 10 handgunners is that the line is so long that you just have to be in 2 ranks. So but then do I want to waste like 80 points with the handgunners every turn but 1?
That's the thing.
It's nice.
It's nice. If you've got on a hill, by the way, and you're shooting in 2 ranks, you're now shooting in 3.
Yeah. Well, one of the things is that all of these army additional special rules they've not been game winners. So I think we're seeing on par, other than that absolutely inspired Wolves of the Sea, like, challenge special rule and roll after winning a challenge and gaining a banner or whatever it is.
A boon.
Yeah, you gain the gaze of the gods, don't you? Other than that, which is more a 50-50 because you could just roll badly, but other than that, they've not been game winners. So I think it's along the lines, as much as I'm like, I don't know when this is going to be used. Yeah, so let's do veteran outriders first. So missile weapons wielded by outriders in this army are not subject to ponderous, which is
-2 if you move.
Is that not clumbersome?
No. Oh
no! To the book.
Have I got it the wrong way around?
Ponderous is moving and shooting.
Yeah. So it's -2 to move. Cumbersome is that you can't stand and shoot.
Yeah. So this essentially will mean that you can move and only take the -1 for firing your repeater handguns, which then means you hit on 5s rather than 6s.
Yeah.
Which is such a big change.
Yeah.
That it makes them it makes outriders into a mobile threat rather than,
especially when you're doing 3 shots per. Fantastic. Just makes outriders so much better in this list.
You can ride up and down the lines like machine gunning people.
Exactly.
Yeah. Finally, we've got the Nuln state troops rule. So this isn't a separate listing. It's a state troop entry special rule. So essentially what that is regiments of Nuln state troops and veteran state troops are as follows. Using the profiles for state troops and veteran state troops in the Empire of Man army list. A regiment of Nuln state troops consists of a regimental unit of state troops accompanied by 1 or 2 detachments of missile state troops and or swordsmen. So you can have a swordsman detachment in this, as well as, say, like a 20-strong handgunner detachment. A regiment of Nuln veteran state troops consisting of... That can be accompanied by... Basically, it's the same, but veteran state troops. So you can take state troops, veteran state troops, with the usual 1 to 2 detachments, but that's made up of missile or swordsman. Each unit of state troops must be equipped with halberds.
Or veteran state troops.
I'm just going to say state troops or missile troops from now on. Each detachment of missile troops must be equipped with handguns. A detachment of swordsmen consists of state troops equipped with hand weapons and shields. Thank you for clearing that up. Unlike regular detachments in a regiment of Nuln state troops may upgrade 1 model to a sergeant for free. It's quite good. Oh my god, it's the complainer-sode. I actually really like halberds in my detachment.
Right.
Not in my main block. In my main block, I like spears because I'm going to be taking the charge. I can still use the shields. So it means that I can have like either weapon skill 3, weapon skill 4. I'm favouring the veteran state troops in the main one now. So that they take the charge. They're a bit more like weapon skill 4 opponents hit me on 4s, not 3s. Because I don't care about striking you that much better. I'm relying on static combat res.
Yeah.
So I take the charge with my spears, and then detachment of halberdiers that, because they've charged, will be going at the same initiative as you likely get the charge. So it just doesn't help with that interplay. No.
It's a fluff rule as well as a rule, isn't it? And I suppose that doesn't really make much sense, but like Nuln troops have got halberds. That's the thing. They have halberds or a gun. So I get it. And the thing that I'm, everything, and I get what you're saying there all the way through. The thing I really, really love about it though is just a free champion.
Yeah, in a detachment that can't normally take a champion.
That's it. I mean, that's the only thing for me. All the rest of it, fine. It is what it is. It's probably not my personal thing. I prefer. You like spears. I prefer swordsman. Yeah. I don't know why, but I just do prefer swordsman. But taking the free champion, I just like that.
What swordsmen are is 40 points cheaper for that block of 40.
There you go.
I think so. Yeah, he's just a fluff rule, as you say.
Yeah.
And it's sort of neither here nor there, because when I'm saying I prefer spears, I'm still averaging about 14 deaths when my spearmen get run into, and I'm still striking second against the likely initiative 6 opponent. Yeah. So I'm still dying in droves.
You're still losing your front 2 ranks.
Yeah.
You're not attacking back anyway.
Whoa. They never forget to strike into the champion, so I get 2 strikes back, Phil.
Okay.
But that's what that is. And do you know what? Let's get on to the next Army of Infamy, which is something that Phil has actually been looking at in great detail. So on the next one, it's a knightly order list, which arguably you could already do from the list, kind of. But I couldn't resist, Phil.
Okay.
So what you got here is obviously knightly orders list with a much more changed composition. Now, it doesn't completely exclude foot troops, and we'll get into that as we go through. And we're going to pair this with essentially how each knightly order works when we get to the end of the composition and the changes there. And that will essentially, your knightly orders can both be applied in this list to a greater degree, or in your main list to a lesser degree. So, in the Knightly Order's Army of Infamy, you get 0 to 1 Grandmaster, 1 plus Chapter Master, and Chapter Masters can be battle standard bearers in this list to Phil's great joy.
Love it.
Love it. You can get 0 to 1 Lector of Sigmar or High Priest of Ulrich per 1,000 points.
Yep.
Witch Hunters, Priests, or Priests of Ulrich. A 0 to 1 War Altar of Sigmar, which is a mount for a Lector of Sigmar. In core, you've got 0 to 1 unit of Inner Circle Knights, can be taken as core. 1 plus unit of Empire Knights per 1,000 points. So that means in 2,000 points you've got to have 2. And Empire Archers, which is sort of feeling like a bit of a 5th edition Bretonian.
It does. Feel. It does a little bit. It does. It does. The core in this does mirror Bretonian army quite well, to be honest. Because apart from men at arms, which you're missing here, you've got knights, better knights, and archers.
Yeah. So in special, like a Bretonian army, you've got Inner Circle Knights and Demigryph Knights. So you've got knights and better knights.
Yeah.
Or you've got better knights and better knights.
Yeah.
And then you've got 0 to 1 unit of Empire State Troops or Missile Troops per 1,000 points. So in 2,000 points, you can have a block of infantry and a detachment, or missile troops and a detachment, or whatever combination. So you've got enough in 2K for something and its detachment, is what I'm saying. Finally, in rare, you've got Pistoliers, which I imagine you'll be taking 0% of your rare.
They're just worse Outriders, aren't they, sadly? They're just worse Outriders.
Well, I would have been happy with them if they didn't have Impetuous.
Yeah.
As soon as they got Impetuous, unusable. Because I'm just going to be declaring loads of charges that I don't want. And they... Fast Cav not March block anymore. You really just need to pick on... Like, I suppose you can bomb them forwards and try and pick on something on the flank.
Yeah.
If you really want to use Pistoliers. But I don't think we're going to see any Pistoliers in this list, because if you're just going to bomb down a flank and pick on a flanking unit, well, they're not that much faster than a knight unit.
No, they've just got better armour, haven't they?
Not only than an actual knight.
No, the knight's just got better armour. That's the thing, isn't it? That's what I meant.
Yeah, and they're not many more points to take knights. Like, I mean, I'm going to flick to it in the book while I'm filibustering, but a knight is 21 points and a Pistolier is 16. But knights can come in 4s and Pistoliers in 5s. So the minimum cost of the unit is the same, but my knights aren't going to charge when I don't want them to, and are going to have lances and shields and therefore have like a 3-up save versus the 5-up save of the Pistoliers. So I can get hit with a great weapon and be the same armour save as you.
Yeah.
So enough Pistolier talk. He's what we expected to see from a Knightly Order list.
Yeah, I mean, the Pistoliers are a nice addition because I didn't expect them to be there.
Well, they're the sons of the Knights, aren't they?
Yeah, so I always thought that you would see probably Demigryphs going into rare, or I don't know why. I just
so they don't compete with that special.
So they don't compete with that special. But as the army, I mean, you are right. I've been looking at this an awful lot. I really like that army composition there. It's very different from it, and yes, you can kind of do it still in the Empire.
Other than the Battle Standard Bearer, what couldn't I do in the main list?
You couldn't put in a Circle Knights in your core.
That one unit.
Yeah.
Thanks, Phil.
It's alright.
So yeah, it is what it is, and this is just the Knightly Orders list. Now, what we more come to as the differences is the actual difference per order. So, essentially, for the Knightly Orders in general... Right, so what does them Knightly Orders do, Phil? You've got more reading of this than I have.
Right, okay. So you must have, a Chapter Master or a Grand Master, and it must belong to one of the Knightly Orders.
Yeah.
So you have to pick one of the ones that are below. And you must then pick your units from that Knightly Order as well. Additionally, units may be allowed or restricted depending upon which Knightly Order you pick.
Yeah, and these two that really come into it, because the two that are in Middenheim hate each other, but they're both in Middenheim.
Yeah.
So they work together a bit more.
Super bros.
Well, they like... Do you like the buddy cops that love to hate each other?
Yeah.
Like, so first we've got both of them first, actually. First is the Knights Panther can include one unit of Empire Knights or Inner Circle Knights belonging to the White Wolves as mercenaries. The unit is not subject to misbehaving mercenaries, though weirdly, out of any mercenaries, they are the ones, like the White Wolves, are the ones that probably would be the misbehaving. Yeah. So that's the change there. Knights of the White Wolf and White Wolves are really good.
Do you know, just on a separate thing, I was bidding on eBay some White Wolves for you
I
on
bet
Sunday.
You yeah.
No, I can prove it. And
I believe you.
It was 11 White Wolves with the Grand Master, and I put 45 quid down there with a 46, and I didn't realise.
Oh no!
And I was like, you would love that, and I'm like, because you love those models as well.
Yeah.
And I was like, when it didn't come off, I thought 45 quid for that as well. That's a steal.
So whoever's watching this that clearly got those White Wolves, you've come into a good one. The changes to the army list is that you can include any number of tutorage and guard units as special choices. You can take 0 to 1 free company militia as a core choice per 1,000, which could that not already be done? Did we not just go through that? Oh no, because it's archers.
Yeah.
Right. Which is good because that represents the warriors of Ulrich that was in the both the Ulrican army list in 6, as well as in the Middenland army, because they were like hodgepodge. Ulrich attracts more mercenaries and adventurers, because it's about like individual skill in combat.
It's kind of like that Viking-esque sort of proving yourself in combat sort of thing, but at like a lower level, isn't it?
Yeah. So, finally, your army cannot include any lectors, priests of Sigmar, or witch hunters, because they're Sigmarites anyway. Because we don't tolerate none of that muck. Which is fair. It's weird that you don't work with the Knights Panther.
Yeah, like it's not a mutual thing. It's like we'll come along to your party, but you're not allowed.
We'll crash you.
Yeah,
misbehaving mercenaries. We'll crash your party. But yeah, so maybe I would have liked to see that, like, if you don't take tutorage and guard, you can take
Knights Panther.
Yeah, just as a little fluff thing, but I think both of them really nice.
Yeah.
And actually how they've done all of these knightly orders, like as much as I was complaining about Nuln, I like how they've set up all of the knightly orders.
Yeah, it's kind of like in this Arcane journal, you've got 6 armies.
Yeah.
Almost, because all the knightly orders are very different from each other. And
got little amuse-bouche flavours to them.
Exactly, smorgasbord.
A smorgasbord.
Smorgasbord.
Yeah. So, what about the Knights of the Blazing Sun?
Oh, love them. Absolutely love them. Love them. An army of the Knights of the Blazing Sun may include 0 to 2 Master Mages as character choices per 1,000 points.
Yeah.
And 0 to 1 Great Cannon or Mortar as a special choice per 1,000 points. However, your army cannot include any Lectors of Sigmar or High Priest of Ulrich.
So you can include the base level priest.
Yes.
And you gain cannons.
Yeah.
Or mortars, but it's cannons.
Yeah.
And you gain Master Mages.
Yeah.
That's really good as a thing.
I think that's great. I mean, that... Because we'll see the Knightly Orders and what they do later on, further on through. But I think that really adds something, makes that really different from the Knights Panther and the Knights of the White Wolf already.
Yeah. Because those mages in a standard Empire list, like me saying I like Demonology, are such a good power boost to your combat unit. You lack them a bit within the Knightly Orders list. So then getting at least some access to them back, and like, oh, I can take a +1 to my casts on Demonology. Yeah, is a good little boost. Good. Knights of More, you can include Wizard Lords and Master Mages as character choices. However, your army cannot include any Lectors of Sigmar, Priests of Sigmar, or Ulrich.
Yeah.
So, because you are literally the Knights of More.
Yeah, devoted
which are well
more.
cool.
Yeah.
Which are like those...
With the skull help.
Yeah.
All the black armour and the white... I think they all have traditionally white horses and black armour with the skull helms.
Yeah, and it's purple crests.
Yeah.
Which looks really striking. And as I said, we were saying in the Blazing Sun, getting access to wizards, except this time it's Wizard Lords.
Yeah.
Really cracking. It's going to be spectral doppelgangering all over everywhere. And finally, Knights of the Fiery Heart. An army of Knights of Fiery Heart can include any number of flagellants as rare choices. However, you can't take High Priest of Sigmar or Priest of Ulrich. It's okay. I would have liked to see one of the upcoming additional units in there as well, the characters.
So, I really like this because your flagellants are unbreakable.
Yeah.
So it means that you've got something to pin down for your knights to go into.
Yeah, the flip side to it is that they're 13 points a model. So you have got a solid core. They will tie things up better, but oh my, they're just so expensive.
Yeah,
and although they are only competing with Pistoliers in that rare, so you don't care about the cap that much.
Yeah.
Because if you get into 500 points of flagellants, it's
2 units of 20.
I suppose, yeah.
2 units of 20.
Well, 36 is it, or something like that you can have in 500 points. I suppose, yeah, solid, unmovable core.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Yeah, and it's a nice little fluff thing of their inclusion.
Yeah. It's the fanatical knight in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the zeal, and I quite like that as a bit of a change.
Yeah, it's just, the only thing is, like, game-wise, the rest of them I like much more.
Yes.
Like, the differences, inclusions.
Yeah.
I like the other ones much more.
Yeah.
Right, so that is the differences in army composition for the orders. Now, as we said, you've got to dedicate to one of the orders. So, for that, you get basically points for characters and points for units. So let's go over each one of them, and we'll give the points for the character and unit, and then what it does.
Yeah.
So the first one, Knights Panther, 10 points for a character, 2 points for a unit, and for the actual unit that's going to be, is you've got to take lances.
Yeah.
Who cares?
I'm not bothered about that.
And may re-roll a single dice that rolls a natural 1 when making a charge. You gain Hatred, Warriors of Chaos, Beastmen Brayherds, and Demonic Models. In addition, your Chapter Master and Grandmaster gain Magic Resistance 1.
Or a unit of Inner Circle Knights.
Or a unit of single Inner Circle Knights. Yes. It's a fairly decent one.
I think considering those are the big 3
arch enemies,
I really like that. And this is where when we had to complain about hatred and things like that covers such a broad spectrum of armies. I really like that.
Yeah,
I think that's great.
It's not hatred Skaven specifically.
Yeah.
It's hatred
chaos.
Chaos. And maybe it should have included Chaos Dwarves, but like it's Warriors of Chaos are one of the most played armies that you'll come up against.
And Beastmen are really, really prevalent as well.
Yeah. Lances, I'm going to take Lances anyway.
Yeah.
Do not give a fuck, mate.
Rerolling one of the dice to charge as well, and it's a 1.
Yeah, it gets you out of that annoying situation, doesn't it? When you trip over your horse laces.
Well, you're always going to benefit. You're not going to do any worse, are you? So I think that's really, really good.
Did you get it, Phil? Horse laces.
Yeah.
Horse laces. Yeah. So next, we've got the Order. He's shaking his head. We've got the Order of the White Wolf. This is incredible. Right?
It actually is. It actually is. This is probably one of the better knightly orders.
One sec. Let me just have my hair billowing in the wind. get my beard fluffed up, ready for the White Wolves. So, must be equipped with either great weapons or halberds, which may be replaced with White Wolf hammers, which you're definitely going to do. And you gain Furious Charge. So, on your cavalry that always wants to charge, you gain +1 attack on the charge.
Yeah.
Which the main problem with Empire Knights, I find, even Inner Circle Knights, is that they've only got 1 attack.
Yeah.
Now you've got 2. Boom. No Master Mage needed.
No.
You can go home. I've got 2 attacks
Put
already.
your feet up, lad. Get a cup of tea.
Yeah.
You're alright.
Now, White Wolf hammers, I'm going to say this to you like you don't already know it, Phil. White Wolf hammers, Phil, are amazing.
Are they? Tell me why.
Tell me more. So they're +1 strength all the time.
Yeah.
-2 AP all the time.
Yep.
They take up 2 hands.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like a great weapon,
right?
But that's only +1 strength, but doesn't strike last.
What happens when you charge with him, though?
When you charge, it's just a great weapon that doesn't strike last.
Wow.
So you've got the ongoing combat power. Yes, you don't get to use a shield, but I've got Furious Charge, so I'm hopefully going to hopefully going to knock about that unit that gets in front of me anyway. If you play in a Knightly Orders army, or even not, take a unit of knights of just 4 knights and just put it into whatever the White Wolves are going to charge first, so it uses their first charge and sort of gets rid of the counter charge because of the overrun, so you can get close enough that they don't get to counter charge. And then you just run into them and hammer them to the head.
It's amazing.
Amazing. So, finally, Grandmasters, Chapter Masters, or units of Inner Circle gain a 5-up ward against flaming attacks, which no one's taking flaming attacks anymore. But it's really good anyway.
Fireball, Pillar of Fire, Dwarf, Iron Drakes.
Dwarf Iron Drake, yeah, I'll give you. But I suppose if you're in an all knightly orders, I'm thinking about this from the standpoint of like my Middenheim army, not a knightly order army. Knightly order army, yeah, because it's protection just across the
board.
Well, sort of, yeah. For those inner circles that you're gonna be leaning into for the strength 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, from just like a normal Empire list, because this can be included in normal Empire, they're just going to target the other unit. But yeah, I see your point that it's in more places than
I think we've done this. Like the ward against flaming, there's a lot more things that cause flaming attacks now, so it does pop up a bit more. Yeah. And a 5-up where it's going to where something's going to ignore your armor, it is actually pretty tasty, pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't argue with it in that just White Wolf hammers and gaining Furious Charge anyway is just so good.
Yeah.
Like it couldn't be all White Wolf inner circles gain +2 attacks. Like it wouldn't have been on. It wouldn't have been on. It'd been unfair on the rest. So Orders of the Blazing Sun. You tell us what is this is.
So this is what I'm currently building an army around. So Knights of the Blazing Sun. Models belonging to the Order of the Blazing Sun gain evasive and flaming attack special rule. Brilliant. Evasive is a great rule.
Yeah, so what does it do?
It's where you're shot, you just move.
Okay.
And I didn't explain that well. So I'll explain evasive a bit better than I did. You fall back in good order from the unit that's shooting at you, which then can put them at long range, or it can put them out of range.
Or if they shoot at you and you were out of position or facing the wrong way, like, I've fallen back in good order. I'm now in a marching column ready to march away from you because I'm losing this game already.
Yeah. So I think it's just a really, it makes everything so mobile in the list.
Yeah.
If you're coming against something that's shooting, you're able just to reposition those knights. You're able, it could be, you shot at that unit there. They've fallen back and now they've got into a different position to go at something different because I need help over the other way.
Yeah.
And especially moved in with the fact that Inner Circle and normal Knights of the Empire get drilled, you can then start pelleting up the board to another area. So I think evasive is really good. It is a good rule anyway, but it's really good on these knights.
Yeah, flaming attacks is a bit meh, but it's also not. It's character combat that you tend, unless you go up against an Inner Circle knight unit of Order of the White Wolf.
Yeah.
Unless you do that, but you're the only Empire player on this table, likely, because who else is playing Empire? Stay tuned for the Empire Civil War videos that we're all doing. So which isn't a joke.
No, it isn't a joke. Chaos Dwarves have Dark Shard armor, which gives them a ward against it. The cloak of the white cloak gives you a 3-up ward against them. But that's characters again. But with this, where you're looking at it, is it's a nice boost if you go up against anything that's dry as dust.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
Stop talking about your marriage again.
But that's the thing where you really also you can punch through swarms really easy. So the things that are going to stop your knights getting through
swarms of war beasts.
Yeah, you can just punch through them because you got flaming attacks because you cause fear in them.
Yeah. So for you Grandmaster, what is the benefit of the Grandmaster?
So the Grandmaster, Chapter Master, or unit of Inner Circle Knights may claim +1 combat resolution
when you charge. Yeah.
So doing it for dramatic effect, you jumped in.
You ass. Sorry, Phil.
The only thing is the bonus isn't cumulative, so you couldn't have your Grandmaster, your Chapter Master.
It's not like Close Order.
Yeah, it's not like Close Order. You couldn't do that, so you can't add it in. But I think just having your Chapter Master, that's your Battle Standard Bearer, for the sake of, I think it's 10 points we've just said, they're now as good as a War Banner and saved you 15 points.
But you could have Chapter Master with War Banner BSB. That's +3 static combat res on the charge in a unit of normal knights.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to get it. One thing that you sort of notice within all of these, I've just thought of, is it's not applying to the demigryphs. So if you've got Chapter Master on demigryph, he adds that to the demigriffs.
Exactly, yeah.
So it's just in more places than, even though it's not culminative, it's just in more places.
Yeah, so you could take more chapter masters and start putting them in your normal Empire Knights, and you've got an extra +1 combat res.
Yeah, because there's nothing to stop you putting the chapter master in a normal unit of knights.
Yes. So I think that's really, really good. And the chapter master's no slouch in combat either. I think it's one of the ones that's got 3 attacks in it.
We'll test you on this.
3 attacks, weapon skill 5, strength 4, toughness 4, leadership 8.
Yeah.
2 wounds.
Yeah. So he's as good as a general of the Empire in combat, except for the 1 wound. Like 1 less leadership, but yeah, it is very good. Next, we've got the Knights of Mor, who gain Hatred Undead, which is fairly meh, but have a 6-up ward against any wounds suffered that were caused by non-magical enemy attacks. So unless you're going up against Warriors of Chaos, you likely have a 6-up ward against anyone that's not like a hero character. In addition, a Grandmaster or unit of Inner Circle Knights, etc., gains fear and magical attacks. So then if you have the Banner of Mor,
they cause terror.
You cause terror.
And you can put them in a big unit of Inner Circle Knights as well, because they're not that expensive. You can get 10, I think it's like 310 points. So you could put that in it there as well. And it would just be, chaining through things.
Yeah. So do you know what I've not been doing? Is saying the points values of each of these. So they're all between 10 and 15 points. And say it's 2 points for Knights Panther and Blazing Sun, and then 3 points per Knight of White Wolf, Mor, and Fiery Heart. So they're
all about the same. There's not massive difference.
Yeah, I'm such a bellend for not saying the fucking points out all the way through. So the most inaccessible to say that. Where do you think we're up to with Guerrilla Miniature Games' guide? I reckon he's done by now.
I reckon he's finished. He's having a crumpet.
Yeah, I would have liked to see the ward be a bit better because of low model counts on knights. Do you know, it's not out of the realms, because say it could be directly compared to a Bretonian knight.
Yeah,
that is a very similar points cost. And although your Inner Circle Knights are getting strength 4, so is a Pegasus Knight. And although they are a problem,
they're not as much. These aren't mobile.
Yeah.
I think for me, the only thing I like fear. I like the ward. It's just the Hatred Undead. It's such a niche thing that I don't think you're going to see it.
I suppose it just, that's a fluff thing, because they're protecting the sanctity of Mor being the Keeper of Death. So I like it. I just don't think they're as good. I suppose they got quite a good Knightly Order virtue.
Yeah.
So actually it balances out maybe a little bit, because you've got like a Wizard Lord in there that's like, woo, here's my necromancy spells, woo. Or anti-necromancy spells.
Anti-necromancy spells.
Next, we've got the Order of the Fiery Heart. Basically, models belonging to the Order of the Fiery Heart can only be joined by Grandmasters, Chapter Masters of the Fiery Heart, or Lectors of Sigmar or Priests of Sigmar. They gain hatred, wizards, and orcs and goblins, because you remember Blackfire Pass.
That hasn't happened yet.
I thought Blackfire Pass was Sigmar's, where he fights with the Dwarven High King in Blackfire Pass.
That's after this, though, isn't it?
No, this is after. That's the foundation of the Empire.
I thought that was after that.
Which one am I thinking of?
It's not a Blackfire Pass, because that was a
Stop the clock! Oh, it's the first Battle of Blackfire Pass.
So we were both technically correct.
In a way.
The best type of correct.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to have my own battle for Blackfire Pass with blackjack and hookers. In fact, forget the battle. So yeah, you gain hatred, orcs and goblins and wizards. So it's extending that bit more. Yeah. In that, obviously, you hate wizards as well. There's stuff that you would likely run over with a unit of knights anyway, though. Is a bit of a...
Yeah. But
it's just a comment.
I suppose, again, with hatred, because this has got wizards and orcs and goblins, I still like that more, because it's a bit of a broader spectrum than just one
Yeah.
So if I don't fight orcs and goblins, I'm more likely still going to get use of it because I can still use it against wizards.
Well, unless you're going up against dwarfs, there is an opportunity to use it.
Yeah.
In most games.
Yeah.
Because who doesn't take a wizard? And I suppose it fits that they don't get it against dwarfs.
Yes, because they're best buds.
Yeah, exactly. And then they have +1 initiative during the first round of any combat.
Brilliant.
Yeah, because what that does is because you're only initiative 3 with your knights. I'm just going to double check myself while I'm saying this. Because you're only initiative 3 with your knights.
You are.
So you go to 6 on the charge. Or you 4 within a circle, Phil. Oh no. It means that you're striking at initiative 8 on the charge, which is beyond Chaos Lord.
Yep. Beyond elves with their elven reflexes.
Yeah. So it does pip you that bit faster.
Yeah, I do like that. That.
It's situationally useful. And the ones that you're going to get use out of it, like elves, you're going to spit on your lances on a 2-up.
Dirty knife is.
Dirty elves. Right. Finally, your Grandmaster, Chapter Master, and Inner Circle Knights can re-roll to hit or to wounds of a natural 1 during the combat phase.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That is brilliant. I mean...
it's a good benefit. It's a good benefit that we valued that the banner at 40 points as a good banner.
That's 40. That's a 40-point banner across your army.
Well, across all Inner Circle Knights.
Yeah.
That will be most of your army.
Yeah. Well, that's the only thing there, isn't it? So your Inner Circle Knights already re-roll your ones to hit, so they just don't have to pay for that banner.
Yeah.
Your Grandmaster goes somewhere else and it's re-rolling hits and or wounds.
Yeah, it's a few 40-point
savings.
Yeah.
I think that's a great buff. I mean, I think the Order of the Fiery Heart have got a lot of really good... They're on par for me with the White Wolves a little bit.
Oh, really? They're the ones... See, I would say they're at the bottom for me out of any of them. Let us know in the comments who is right. Am I right or is Phil right? Because I think we will argue ourselves to a standstill that's not worth watching.
The question is which knightly order am I actually currently taking, and that's Knight of the Blazing Sun, so it doesn't matter which I think is best, that's the one I'm taking.
So who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Right, let's get on to the special characters. Because the first special character is the Knights Panther special character.
Yep.
Right, so the special character, Harold Jemenson, the Grandmaster of the Knights of the Panther. You've got weapon skill 7, so 1 more than a standard Grandmaster. You've got strength toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 6, 4 attacks, leadership 9. So the special little point within that is the weapon skill.
Yep.
You've got hand weapon, breast reaver, and full plate armor. Breast reaver.
Did you call it breast reaver? It's beast reaver.
What an idiot! Do you know what?
It's beast reaver.
I was reading it, and the reason I said it a bit different is because I was like, "That's a weird name. That's a weird name."
Beast reaver.
Clearly, it's on the mind, but
he's not a sex offender.
Well, that's why I said it a bit differently, because I was like, "That's a proper weird name to have as that."
Yeah.
But Beast Reaver / Breast Reaver is +1 strength. Because I was like, is it breastplate? But -1 AP. It's Armor Bane 1, killing blow magical attacks. And when attacking against Beastman Bray herds, can re-roll any failed rolls to wound. Which is nice because they ride about the Drakwold.
Yeah.
And go on beast hunts.
It's nice as a fluff rule.
Well, the killing blow just makes it a pretty good dude anyway. It's not got the most attacks to trigger those 6s, but
yeah, that's my thing with it. I think it's all right. It's like a 35-point magical weapon on him, roughly. So it's all right. It's okay.
Right. So his special rules, he's got counter charge, first charge, Grandmaster of the Knights of Panther, which is he's a Knights Panther, therefore he can re-roll 1s when making a charge roll. In addition, any unit he may only join a unit that belongs to the Knights Panther.
Yeah.
Right, so that is just a thing. He's got Hatred, Warriors of Chaos, Beasts of Chaos, Demonic Models as a Knights Panther.
Yeah.
Immune to Psych, Magic Resistance 1, Master of Battle, Rallying Cry, Skilled Duelist, Stubborn, Swift Stride, Veteran. Jesus, a lot of special rules. Master of Battle is immune to Psych.
Do you know, one of the things here, sorry, when he's the Grandmaster of the Knights Panther, by the way, they didn't have to include all the special rules for the Knights Panther.
Yeah.
Because he's a Grand... He's
they
already
just
got
said he
that.
follows the rules
He's
for
the
the
Knights Panther. He already has that. So, you know, a lot of them are just the standard rules for Knights Panther.
Yeah. So, finally, Skilled Duelist. Should he slay an enemy in a challenge on a turn which he charged, he may immediately issue a second challenge. If this challenge is accepted, it's fought immediately, meaning Harold, but not his mount, may fight 2 challenges during a single round of combat. For 185 points, compared to, say, like, a normal Grandmaster that is starting at 145 points, I think he's excellent.
You get a lot of gear. You get a lot of utility out of him, to be perfectly honest. I think he is... If you're going to take a Grandmaster...
Yeah.
And you want to take Knights Panther, I would just take him.
Yeah.
Well, and that's very rare for me to say, because I like not taking special characters. But I would always just take him if I was taking Knights Panther. I just don't see the point in taking a normal one.
So, just rip my book. He's 145 points, plus his mount, which is like 16 points. So that's 145, 150, 61.
Plus your full plate, which you have to buy.
Does he not come with full plate as a... No.
No. So that's 4 points.
So at 165, he's then got Beast Reaver.
Yeah, which is about 35 points. 30 points magical weapon, I reckon.
Yeah, because he's got that killing blow. Like, some of them are 50 points for killing blow.
True.
So, like, you were a significant cost saving for a comparative Grandmaster. And we've not even added the Grandmaster of the Knights Panther to that. Which is
15 points, I think.
Even if we just err on the 10 as the, like, err on cheaper for our comparison's sake, that's already, with that, not factoring in his weapon or his skilled duelist rule, it's the same points.
Yeah.
So then, skilled duelist fighting twice, well, you can retire, if they don't want to fight you, you can retire 2 characters to the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And get 2 lots of overkill. So it can be up to 8 attacks in a combat. And if you just get a 6 on the first one, like, oh, I've killed you.
Yeah.
Give us another. Because he's got to be issuing that and doing it at initiative 9.
Yeah.
Because it's on the charge. So, yeah, I think an excellent character.
Exactly. And if you don't want to fight him, as you said, you push the other characters to the back. There you go. You're not using his leadership on the rules.
He uses Beast Reaver to literally prod the enemy champion to the back. Yeah. You go to the back.
I know you go.
Yeah. So, really good character. The next one, we've got General Hans von Lovenhach.
That's very well done.
Do you think? I think someone that is German that is watching this should tell me how that should have been said.
Probably not the way you've just said it.
Well, he is a weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 5, strength toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 4, 4 attacks, leadership 9, general of the empire, like allegory.
Yeah.
That it isn't tied to any specific army of infamy and stuff. So, because he's a mercenary commander, as is his special rule, which means that mercenaries benefit from his inspiring presence and may be joined by him. In addition, they're not subject to misbehaving mercenaries, so they become more part of your army than normal. Which actually, I think, should have been. This is a good enough rule that should have been an empire rule.
Yeah.
In that, like, empire armies are so diverse
that it should be that the misbehaving. Mercenaries don't suffer from misbehaviour.
Because even state troops are like always described as like mercenaries.
Yeah.
They're just like working for coin all the time. So that's not a complaint. That's a really good rule. Strategic mastery. In scenarios where you roll off to determine who takes first, may apply +1 or -1 to your roll. So if you utilise your detachments really well, you can actually get quite a low number of drops in your army because you detachment and regiments
go at the same time.
Yeah. So that means if you get that +1, you get another +1 from this. You can go first because you're always going to take that +1 to try and get another round of shooting at your opponent. So
Or you would want to go if you're facing something that doesn't usually shoot, like Beastmen.
Yeah, but they're going to run at you faster.
Yeah, but you'll be better at them running at you, so you are not having the -1 to shoot, and you'll still probably get 2 turns.
Because your handguns might be in.
Yeah.
You see, I always just think I want another turn with my cannons.
Fair enough, but yeah.
Or I suppose like if it's like 6 turns end on objectives.
Yeah.
You want to get the last turn to push someone.
Exactly. So I think that's really, really good that you can
manipulate
it. And I think it's always great when these sort of going first manipulation.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. He's got the Griffin Helm, which is a 5-up ward against wounds suffered and makes him immune to killing blow. If he is struck by a killing blow, he loses a wound, but he's permitted armour and regen as normal. So it's as good as any other ward save that Empire can take, and he's immune to killing blow.
Amazing.
So, and his special thing in his profile is that he's an extra weapon skill. He's an extra attack. Yes, he's 1 less initiative than a Grandmaster, but his closest comparison point is the Grandmaster stat line.
Yeah.
So it's 145 points as that comparison. He's got Hold the Line, which is the Empire General special rule. So it's units that he's joined automatically pass Panic. Yeah, he's not immune to Psych, but it's pretty good. And then adding like a 35 plus point magic item in the Griffin Helm. Basically, a great weapon with multiple wounds too that doesn't strike last.
He's amazing. He is amazing. For 190 points, he is absolutely amazing.
Do you know what multiple wounds 2 is? Usually better than multiple wounds D3.
Yeah, it is, because it's more
because a third of the... Yeah, because I really like rolling average.
Yeah. But no,
and that's what that is.
It's great. It's got good strength, good AP on it.
Yeah. It's not statistically better, it's the same.
It's the same.
Reliable.
One more reliable.
I had to correct myself there, sorry. I cut you off.
No, but the other thing as well, like, put him in a unit and give it the razor banners, and now he's got, like, if he rolls any 6s, you just ignore armour straight away. Yeah. I think he's brilliant for 190 points.
Did you see his previewed model the other
I liked it. I thought it was very glitz and glam and bling, as I expect a general of the Empire to be. People were complaining about it, I get it, but if you actually look historically though, there are armours where there's got huge pauldrons that are protecting one side, because that's the side that you were leaning with while you were attacking with the other one without carrying a shield. So
it's just that bit too Warcrafty for me.
Yeah, I get that.
But do you know what this guy is? General Hans von every empire in any empire list ever. That's his true name.
Yeah.
General Hans von Bon Pantaloon, the distant relative.
I tell you what, I'll have this model in my army. I might not use him, but he'll be in my army definitely.
But won't you be taking? Oh, no, you're not taking Panther, are you? Unlucky.
No, I'm taking Blazing Sun.
Yeah, right. Well, on that great disappointment that Phil can't take von Bon Panther Ludenwerth, we got to go into the more generic parts of this list. So that's the wider Arcane Journal. I imagine Guerrilla Miniature Games has just got up to this point now, and we're right on track. So first we've got the Harbingers of Doom. These are character choices for an Empire of Man army. You can take 0 to 1 per unit of flagellants as a character choice. And they're 65 points, the same as a Witch Hunter, a Priest of Sigmar, or a
Priest of
everyone.
Yeah.
Is 65 points for a Weapon Skill 5, Strength Toughness 4, 2 wounds, 3 attacks, Leadership 8. So he's got more attacks than the Captain of the Empire that has been paid for all of his life and trained to fight. He's got more attacks. And that's not a complaint, that's a good thing. So what this character does is you can take a flail for 3 points or a great weapon for 4. So I would take a flail.
I would always take a flail.
Yeah, and can take 50 points of magical items. You can't take armour because he's got no armour standard, so he can't be meteoricked up the arse.
No.
But just take. Do you know what I do? Take 2 of them. If you're worried about him dying, take 2. It's effectively, because what this is going to do for your army, he has Furious Charge, Feel No Pain, like a Flagellant.
Immune Psychology, Impetuous, Hatred all enemies, Prayer of the Damned, Unbreakable, and Zealot.
Yes, so Prayer of the Damned is you can take a leadership chest, leadership 8, because there's no Lector version.
Yep.
So he's just leadership 8, which is better than a priest. And if you pass, until you start your next turn, you gain 6 up ward against any wounds suffered, and a 5 up ward against wounds suffered by fear and terror causes.
Brilliant.
And that's for a unit of flagellants as well, which is really good.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're going to take a unit of flagellants, you just 100% take one of these.
Yeah. And it's not to 1 per unit of flagellants, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when we were talking about the Order of the Fiery Heart, and you're taking loads of flagellants,
you can't take him in an Order of the... That was my problem. That was my entire problem.
Empire of Man army.
Ooh, so you
Any
wouldn't say...
Empire
even
of
though it
Man...
doesn't say... Because the Empire of Man army... Oh, yeah, it doesn't say Grand Army list composition.
Empire.
Do you know what? I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
I think people are going to argue about that a lot.
I would allow it.
Yeah, because you've played against and with Empire. So,
Yeah.
So know that. Just let them do it. Just let them do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. On to the next. We've got another one that can be applied to knightly orders. We've got the Tutor Guard, which are 13 points a model. There. Compare this to the Great Swords. Weapon skill 4, strength 3, toughness 4.
Wow.
Toughness 4, 1 wound, initiative 3, but you get to use that initiative 3.
Yeah.
1 attack, leadership 8. Now you have White Wolf hammers and full plate. You've got Blessings of Ulrich, which is a 6-up ward suffered against flame attacks. You've got Close Order, drilled as standard, which you have to pay for Great Swords. And Great Swords start out at 11 points.
Yep.
I'm gonna get there. You start out at 11 and it's 2 points for drilled.
Right.
So you're the same as a Great Sword, except you've got these additional special rules.
Oh, go about the other special rules as well.
Yeah, you've also got Guardians of the Temple, Stubborn, and Veteran. Great Swords already have Stubborn, yeah. But you've got Veteran, which is a 1 point upgrade for Great Swords. So that means they're cheaper than Great Swords. Yeah. What Guardians of the Temple does is, when engaged in combat, a model with this special rule may reroll any hits of a natural 1. So you are an Inner Circle Knight on 4.
You are. It's just crazy the points cost for these. They're just so good. And I can just see everyone going, oh yeah, mate, they're not Great Swords. They're Tutor Guard, mate. Yeah, they just look like Great Swords.
I would not be mad at that. Because having played a load of Great Swords, like I've played them in a bunch of games now, they are useless. Useless. And like we went over the White Wolf Hammer before, but here it is again. It's +1 strength, -2 AP, requires 2 hands, so not striking last. And if you charge and move 3 inches or more, you gain +2 to your strength rather than 1.
The only thing with this is that you need to have is it a Priest of Ulrich if you're going to take him in a normal army, in the Grand Army composition?
Let me gather all of the tears which I've shed over that special rule, and I won't be able to give you any. Because when you're taking these, no, I'll take a Priest of Ulrich. And I do think, personally, the Priest of Sigmar is better.
Right.
Because of that 5-up ward versus shooting.
Yeah.
And the re-rolls. But I do think the 2 multiple wounds from passing your Prayer of Ulrich, like, what is it, Winter's Bite? Winter's Chill. Wrath of Winter, it's the 3rd one. For the multiple wounds too, is excellent for them. Winter's Chill is basically they've got to re-roll to hit rolls of natural 6, which is still really good. That's like the Nurgle one.
Yeah. And
then Battle Howl, you charge an additional D3, so it's like the Doomseeker's mini Swift Stride.
I think it's with a Priest of Ulrich in a unit of Teaching Guard, you've got some great legs there because you're charging further. Oh no, I'm out of position a little bit. It's okay. Those poison skinks that ruin everyone's day. Now I've got to re-roll those 6s.
Yeah.
You know, here's my vial of tears. Please can I collect them in that? And then when they do get into a monster, they just butcher it.
Can you get out your tiny violin for a second for me, please? One of the things that confuses me about this unit, because I don't think it's too strong, I think it's just better than Greatswords.
Yeah.
Why has it not got Furious Charge when Knights of the White Wolf have Furious Charge? From like a fluff perspective, it confuses me.
Alright, yeah, fair enough. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
but it's still great.
Because surely they're of the same mindset.
Yeah, true. Well, they are. They're just knights not on horses, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that one. But they would be too good if they had that.
I don't think they would. I think they're very comparable to, say, Bretonnian Foot Knights.
Yeah.
Bretonnian Foot Knights have a 5-up ward against anything that matters.
Okay. Fair enough.
So, because they've got the same save as a Foot Knight with a shield.
They have.
Against shooting.
Yeah.
And then in combat, that Foot Knight has a 5-up ward against anything that truly hurts you.
Yeah. Yeah, and they don't have that there, do they? So.
And Foot Knights, people already consider them fucking terrible.
They're great.
I like them, and I've stacked combat res on you a few times.
Yeah.
But like from a tournament scene, people hate them. So I do think like looking at this unit, I love this unit. Take them instead of Greatswords and don't feel bad about it. But even use your Greatsword models because they are great models as well.
Yeah.
Have 2 units. One that looks like Greatswords, one you can guard, and only explain one set of rules to your opponent because you've only used one. But like, yeah, I don't think they're like you put these down on table and feel bad about it.
No, they're not. They're not that. They're good. They're not that good.
Yeah. Next, we've got Imperial Ogres, which are ogres. They're 31 points a model. They're a movement 6, weapon skill 3, ballistic skill 3, strength toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 2, 3 attacks, leadership 7, ogre, and they've got light armor to standard. They can upgrade with heavy armor for 3 points and a great weapon for 4 points. So that means they come in at 38 points, which is very comparable to an Iron Gut.
It's almost identical apart from missing the veteran, to be honest.
Well, yeah, exactly. And it's like 1 point for veteran on most things. So comparably identical to Iron Guts. And if you have, say, special character Von Fancy Pants,
they're not misbehaving mercenaries anymore, they're just mercenaries.
And they use his leadership of 9.
Ooh.
Yeah. So if you do lose the combat, you're like, don't care.
But you're talking about, you just said great weapon with them, right? And I know why, because you're likening them to Iron Guts.
Yeah.
I think these are a shooting unit, though.
What, with the light cannon?
Yeah.
So let's give those options. You can take Morning Stars with them for 2 points a model, which is just like a fun option.
Yeah.
Like, I would have liked to see shields there as well to, make it a true option.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't take a shield. They've got light cannons, which are 8 points a model, so coming in at 39 or 42 with heavy armor. And a light cannon is essentially the ogre cannon.
Yeah.
But not firing the multiple wounds one, which is range 18, strength 4, AP -1, armor bane 2, that does D3 hits to the target unit rather than the usual one.
Yeah.
But you do I suppose it's worse than the ogre one because you do take stand and shoot and movement penalties.
Yeah.
But still, like it's a fun little option for like your firing line that just like some of them happen to be ogres. So yeah, and an ogre pistol is a quick shot handgun.
Yeah. We already know what they, it's brilliant.
No, but by which I mean like a handgun.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a pistol, it's an ogre pistol, which is just a handgun that the ogre is like, I'm big enough to use this as a pistol.
Yeah.
which is fairly good. Like with the quick shot, like the captain as the sergeant upgrade is ballistic skill 4, which is funny.
They are basically lead belchers, I think. That's what they look like to me. But you can build them in either way. It's just that you lose out. If you buy the captain, that extra 7 points, you're not going to use that ballistic skill for if you build them as
I just really like that we're seeing lots of versions of ogres.
Yeah.
In this list, like, do you remember the mercenary ones?
Yeah. Golfag.
No, which is the mercenary ogre unit that you can kit out however you want. The ones that have like gone out from the tribe and come back.
Yeah.
Well, the pirate one and the ninja one.
Man-eaters.
So I think they were good. We've seen like sort of 7 entries for ogres between normal lead belchers, iron guts, imperial ogres, badlands ogres, all of that. I like that we're seeing them all over to represent those man-eaters that go about everywhere.
We've already seen the models being teased as well, and they've all got pantaloons and big fancy hats on as well. They're so good. Good.
Yes.
Perfection.
Right. Next, we've got Road Wardens, and for 18 points, which is 2 points more expensive than a Pistolier, you get loads more. I think these, outside of Nuln, Army of Infamy, are going to replace everything else.
Yeah.
Basically. Maybe not. It's a bit of a top. It becomes a 50-50 with the Outriders if you want a static unit or not. By which I mean, they're ballistic skill 4 and 5 on the champ. They've got war horses, heavy armour, so they've got the same saves. They can be ambushers, scouts, which is really good.
Yep.
Can have feigned flight for 2 points, so come to 20.
Amazing.
Immense.
Yeah, amazing.
They've got fire and flee as standard, so you can feign flight, fire and flee.
Yep.
They've got vanguard, skirmishers, open. They're fast cav. They come with a crossbow, but you can change that out to a brace of pistols for 1 point a model, which I might do to just ride about with my brace of pistols.
Scout them. Brace of pistol. You don't. So
scout then vanguard.
You can't scout.
Can you not scout on vanguard?
It's vanguard or scout.
Right.
So, scout pistols because you're getting double the shots at half the range, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then you've got feigned flight, so you can put them really close to the enemy. If it comes to you, you're only doing 1d6 plus your swift stride, but you're probably going to get away from something.
Yeah.
And then you
2d6 total.
Yeah, and then you're rallying again.
Well, you're rallying in the enemy's turn. So then you can even stay there and count as static.
Yeah. It's just, I just think
this is what Pistoliers should have been.
This is exactly it. I mean, I will say this now. If anyone's going to play against me, they can take these as Pistoliers. Because this is just what Pistoliers should be in my head.
Yeah. And I like that we're seeing Road Wardens.
Yeah.
Like, in that they can take crossbows as well. It's a cool little difference. I like that we see, because we've got war wagons that can be like the carts that are going about the Empire, and then the Road Warden. I like that we've seen that fleshed out more.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is what Pistoliers also should have been at all points.
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe not the ballistic skill 4, but other than that,
I would have given the ballistic skill 4, but not given the captain ballistic skill 5.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Just not, or Pistoliers just shouldn't have had Impetuous.
Yeah,
and then this gives this a different unit again.
Exactly. But yeah, no, really, really good unit. I think they're fantastic. Love them.
Yeah.
Oh,
next,
Daddy.
The War Wagons. So for 140 point, you get Heavy Chariot, so you've got close. You've got Strength 5, Toughness 5, 6 wounds. Decent. You've got 6 crewmen. So their leadership 8, they're basic Empire dudes, so like Weapon Skill 3, Strength 3.
Yeah.
You've got 2 Barded War Horses. You save his 3 up, which is decent for a chariot.
Yeah, it's good.
You've got, close as I said, Crushing Weight. So stomp attacks made by a war wagon have armor piercing -1. In addition, you treat low linear obstacles as dangerous terrain rather than impassable, because you just crush over it.
Yep.
So you're more mobile. You've got impact hits D6 +1, but also stomp attacks D3 +1. You're a large target, but that's not too bad of a thing anymore.
Yep.
You've got stable firing platform as a chariot, but all my guys just have hand weapons, do they? No. All of the 6 dudes can take separate, different weapons. And what those are blunderbusses, long rifles, repeating rifles, ball and chains, hooked halberds, and man catchers. But what are those? You say, Phil and Max. What are those? Well, they're a blunderbuss is range 12, strength 3, AP -1, multiple shots D3 and volley fire. So you don't suffer negatives for long range or for using multiple shots D3 or when making a stand and shoot charge reaction. Right. The next one is a long rifle, so that's strength 4, AP -1, armor bane 1, cumbersome. And it's basically a Hockland, so you can target a specific character.
Yeah.
You've got a repeating rifle, so that's range 24, strength 4, AP -1, armor bane 1, multiple shots 3. So you've got to be hitting on 6s with those 3 shots. But you're not going to be taking the -1 for moving, so you won't get onto 7s. You've got ball and chain, which is strength +3, AP -2, armor bane 1, and strikes last. So it's a better great weapon.
Yeah.
Because of the strength +3. You've got a hooked halberd, which is strength +1, AP -2, armor bane 2, requires 2 hands.
Which is a better halberd.
Yeah.
Much better halberd.
Yeah, because it's not strikes last. And
well, it's got AP -2 straight in built in.
Yeah. Because of the hook. Right, and then the man catcher, which is a strength user, AP -1, killing blow.
That would be awful just to get killing blow by that.
Well, it's just one attack into it. It's one bloke just tries and like, come here, you.
Get here.
Come here, you.
Mine.
Yeah.
You're mine.
What? And you can mount an Empire Engineer on war wagons for 140 points. So even if you're playing with a silly 0 to 3, you can have 6.
Yeah.
But are you going to do it? Do you know what? I think it adds some real good counterpunch to the Empire list because it's a chariot.
Yeah.
And it has stomp attack, so it's better than a normal chariot.
I think it's brilliant. I just think it's great. It's like the Empire's version of a dragon, basically.
Yeah.
If you think of it in that, it is, isn't it? If
Yeah.
you think of it in your head, it's not got the toughness 6, but it's got a better save, and it still does all the stomp attacks. And it doesn't suffer from being a behemoth or a large target, so it's still.
No, it is a large target.
Is it?
Yeah.
I thought it was just a heavy chariot. I didn't
But still,
realise
it don't matter, mate.
It doesn't matter. But it's still good.
If you come up against a Chaos Lord on Dragon, and you have equivalent points worth of war wagons,
You're winning with your war wagons.
Oh, you'll give it a good go. Then 36 wounds worth of war wagons.
Yeah, no, great.
But I love the old model,
Yeah.
and it's really nice that it's come back. And it's going to be a nightmare to remember what each, like, now I do this one guy, now I do this other guy. That was the main reason.
Do you know what I'll have?
I was like
6 different coloured dice and allocate each colour to a different attacker. Just leave that to one side.
Here's my sheet with a piece of colour next to each
just
weapon.
tick them off as I'm doing
It's
it.
always this one.
Yeah.
So that is the war wagon. I do think it adds
I love it.
a chariot
I
in
love
Empire that you don't have to take an Arch Lector of Sigmar
To get a chariot.
Because that's the key. I didn't like having to take a Sigmarite priest, an Arch Lector no less.
Yeah.
It's Volkmar. He's back again.
And you can put them into your normal Art Grand army as well. So it's not to 1 for 1,000 points in your Grand Army, which I think is good as well.
Yeah. So that is that, and I think that is the last of the Empire book. So we'll do a quick wrap up, should we? So Phil, what do you think overall about the Empire book?
I think for what you get in it, it's great value. For rules wise, I think it's got some nice units in there that are adding into.
Are you doing it like a buyer's guide? It's great value.
No, but I mean for enjoyment, as in playing the game.
Yeah.
I think it's great value for what you've got. As I said previously, you've technically got 6 different armies in this book.
Yeah.
And then you've got multiple different units you can add into your standard Empire army, which I think add a lot of value to it. I don't think there's a single unit in there where I go, oh, that's pretty poor.
Yeah.
I think they're all good. The special characters, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I want a special character. They're not too tough, but they have some nice little tricks in there and stuff like that. I think if I was going to give this anything, I'd like solid 4 out of 5 megas for me. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
Do you know what? I'd go 4 out of 5 megas.
Yeah,
it's,
I think it's not perfect, but it's let down a little bit by some of the magic weapons.
Yeah,
but I think the Enchanted, Arcane, and Banners personally for me I quite like, and I think the units are really, really good.
Yeah. Like overall, I really like the list. I really like the inclusion of the Knightly Orders. Like, as we all know, I've said it a million times. Like, Phil's had to hear it a million times. I know I've only revealed it on cast once. Is that I would have liked to see different things that for the army composition that we've not already seen.
Yeah.
But it's such a minor point. Because as much as I can say I'd like to see different things, well, we've already seen the Ulrican list and the Middenland list.
Yeah.
And we've already got descriptions of the other locations that I think get served well by the main list anyway. In the same that, because I think the Empire list in general is very good.
It's very diverse, isn't it? In what you can do with it. You can represent any state, can't you?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like minor stuff there. I think the Knights, which were a cornerstone of the army anyway, have got good boosts. And it's in fact, I think, the fact that we can't even agree on which one's the best one is, well, there's no clear standout if we can't agree on it. And like even the mercenaries, how I think the army's looking to shape up with, like, we've got Imperial Dwarf mercenaries in the... It's not just this book, but this book sort of ties it together that bit more.
Yeah, it literally brings the empire-ness feel to how the empire was at this time. Because as you go through the time frame of empire, they go more into their states and using the elect accounts and following like the normal people. But now they're bringing in the ogres and the dwarves, and
I would have liked to see a giant. I would have liked to see a giant.
Is that because you've printed a giant out?
So yeah, I would have liked to see a giant for old times' sake.
A mercenary giant.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future.
Well, yeah. They're getting closer and closer, and I would have liked to see, as I said, the 3 emperors a little bit more done with that.
Yeah.
Like Reichsguard, they've got for the Teutogen Guard, and then the
Reichsguard didn't exist at this point, did it?
Did they not?
No, the Order of the Fiery Heart had what the Reichsguard turned into, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so Reichsland existed, but Reichsguard didn't at this time.
I stand corrected. So, but yeah, he's a good book. I think he's the mages are a pretty cornerstone to like tournament play, and they get some boosts. We've got a pretty widely applicable single-use 5-up ward.
Mm-hmm.
And I think overall do I think they're now top of the pile in competitive? No. Do I think that they've got some good boosts and it's a good time for the Empire? Yeah. And if you want to see some Empire and see us fight the Civil War, we are actually playing it the weekend that the Empire drops. So it will likely be the week after that, like, look out for the Empire Civil War starting. I'm going to do a series of videos
celebrating my birthday.
Celebrating
my birthday because it's my birthday that weekend.
The year of Phil.
Celebrating that my birthday. So what are you taking them for that then? I don't think you've mentioned it.
Well, should we go over it? So I'm taking Middenland, so it's the Wolf Emperor.
Right.
I've got, in my army, I've managed to fit in, get ready for this, a General of the Empire with white, like the wolf cloak, has got a great weapon, full plate, a captain with a war banner,
right,
with meteoric iron and a talisman of protection, I think it is.
Okay.
So he's got a 5-up. I've got an Empire engineer with, I keep switching between a blunderbuss and a Hockland.
Right.
A level 3, because we said that we weren't allowed level 4s in our Empire versus Empire event. So I've got a level 3. I've got a captain on Pegasus.
Right.
Right, so I've got a priest of Ulrich.
Okay.
Which I think it would have been better with Sigmar, but I'm Middenland so Otto von Bonpantaloons, Middenlanders, wouldn't tolerate any of them priests of Sigma unless the Ulrican tells us to. So, yeah, I've got that. Then I've got 40 state troops with spears.
Right.
20 veteran state troops with halberds.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's 40 veteran state troops with a full command so that they can have the Griffin banner.
Right.
They've got spears. I've got 20 state troops with halberds. They're just weapon skill 3 idiots. I've got a 10 and a 5 handgunners. I've then got 21 greatswords, 4 outriders, 8 normal knights.
Okay.
10 normal knights, 8 inner circle knights, it is. A cannon and a mortar.
Right. Mine's a lot simpler than that. I've got a Grandmaster and a Demigriff.
Yeah.
With the armour that gives him hammer hand and a lance.
Yeah.
Then I've got a Chapter Master, that's my battle standard bearer. Both of them, by the way, are on Demigriffs. Then I've got a Priest of Sigma that's on a Warhorse. Just bare bones, really. Nothing to shout about. 3 Demigriffs with the banner that allows them to reroll ones.
Yeah.
9 Inner Circle. And the Inner Circle then have got the Priest of Sigma who's going to be in there. So they can reroll ones to hit and then reroll ones to wound.
Yeah.
2 units of 10 Knights with full command. And 2 cannons. And a unit of 6 Pistoliers, and they are all Knights of the Blazing Sun.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, yours is much simpler, less moving parts than mine.
Well, they just move faster, but there's less models.
Yeah. Are we going to be playing siege games? I'm hopefully gonna get some boats so we can play the 6th edition boat rules as well.
Boat.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to do that, and we're going to have obviously standard games, and you guys can follow along at home. And we'll catch you in them videos. See you in a bit.